Hello, and you're listening to You Still Going On About That with myself, Rob Israel, and
Joseph K.
And you can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, Castbox, and Podbeam. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it. Tell your mom about it. And while you're at it, we also have a Facebook page. You Still Going On About That. Again, like it, join it, comment, share it. And thank you and enjoy. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that.
All right, this week we're going to be talking about Inglorious Basterds.
Yeah.
A movie that I can't believe is already 10 years old.
Yeah.
From Quentin Tarantino.
Yep.
But before we get into that,
big news on the Star Wars front.
Yes, because we are owned by Star Wars. It controls us.
Yeah.
We have to talk about it because everybody's talking about it. We don't have,
right.
We have no say. No, I would if I talk about things I like. I like Star Wars. Like if this was like Fast and Furious trailer, we wouldn't be talking about it. I mean, maybe you would. I wouldn't.
I don't know. I'm not a Fast and Furious.
Okay, so we wouldn't be either.
But I do feel. It's funny you say that because I feel compelled to have an opinion about Star Wars.
Yes, Star Wars I have an opinion about because I like it.
Yes.
And even if I didn't like a part of Star Wars, I still like Star Wars. Like, it doesn't matter.
But when there's a Star Wars thing, I feel either inspired and grateful or horribly betrayed. Like,
either way, it's inspiring because it's fun to talk about Star Wars.
It is.
So, Disney had its big expo. It's called D23. I don't know what the hell D23 stands for.
It's probably the 23rd Disney Expo, right?
No, it's called D23.
Oh, it's always called D23? Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you could Google it.
Yeah.
So go ahead and Google that. We'll figure it out later. Or, I'm just going to say ignorant. And
I'll bet you it's an obscure Mighty Ducks reference.
Yes, Mighty Ducks. It's a reference to...
the goalie from Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, the goalie from Mighty... Yeah, something super...
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Perhaps not, but
okay.
Sure.
So, they released 2 trailers. The first one is... we'll just talk about it real quick. Because, it looks cool. I'm not like Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's going to be the first Disney Plus show.
Yes.
I heard they're going to release it week by week. They're not going to just dump it all at once.
Oh, I am against that.
I'm fine with... I get why they're doing it. I think on their part, it's smarter.
Well, you saw, the template there, I guess, is Game of Thrones rolled out week after week, and that built a lot of momentum.
And I also think it's a good way to keep subscribers lasting.
Okay, that's a great point.
If the show stinks, let's say there's 3 bad episodes or something, you're going to lose subscribers also.
It will not. I think it'll be a good one.
I think so too. You got a good... there's good talent on it, and the trailer looked good. It didn't... my biggest fear, and again, we're only seeing clips from it, my biggest fear is that it was going to look cheap, but seeing what I've seen on Netflix and Amazon on their own, what they do with TV shows like Altered Carbon and all these... There's no excuse not to make this stuff look top-notch. It has to look almost as good as the movies. It cannot look as almost... So, and what I saw in Mandalorian, I don't expect the grandeur as much as Last Jedi with the ship getting split in half, but I think it's going to look good.
Yeah, it looked really good to me. I thought that the tone and the feel of it was fine. It looked a little... not grim, but darker or more somber.
One thing I liked about it, and it's kind of funny, I'm not the only one saying this, it's just it's kind of fun and interesting. You notice how a lot of the Star Wars movies, it's very rare that you see the same aliens in each movie.
Yeah.
Especially in the new ones, the last one, the last Jedi, except for seeing Nien Nunb and Admiral Akbar, you don't see it's all new aliens.
Yes.
Even when they went to Casino, you would think you'd see a Rodian or Twi'lek or one of their more famous aliens, a Wookiee. Wookiee in a dress, missed opportunity.
Yes.
No. I can't even do a Wookiee noise. Doesn't matter.
Sure.
Yeah, but imagine a Wookiee getting aroused.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I had a sexy Wookiee in a slinky dress.
Right. And by sexy Wookiee, you mean just a regular Wookiee.
Just a Wookiee in a dress.
Already sexy as fuck.
Yeah, they don't need to do much.
Okay, so...
Welcome to the furry hour.
Oh, jeez.
So, but this, and when you watch the trailer, you see aliens that you're familiar with, and it's like, I don't understand why. I mean, I know why Star Wars does it because they want to sell new action figures, they want to make new characters.
Sure.
But there's nothing wrong with having recognizable alien species. Star Trek does it all the time.
Yeah.
It's not like Star Trek's be like, oh no, we don't want to show Klingons or
Romulans
like Romulans. Oh yeah, we're not going to show that. It's like, yeah, you developed them. Show them, man. Like, I don't understand why they hide from it. I hope when Episode 9 comes out, you do see some more familiar aliens. I don't think it's a cop out. I don't see it as it's a developed universe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I like seeing new ones because it's fun to design new ones, but I also want to see some ones that exist.
Well, and it would make sense, especially with, like, look, if you're talking about Coruscant, then yeah, there's going to be like 70, 80, 90 different aliens.
Hundreds, maybe thousands.
Yes. But if you're talking about like some backwater cantina on Tatooine or whatever, I mean, what are you going to have, like maybe 3 or 4 species living together? You're not going to have a UN there or something.
That Mos Eisley had tons of different aliens.
Right,
they even had a guy who looked like the devil, and they had a guy in a Wolfman mask.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. But, I mean, I guess Rogue One had a lot of the aliens because, I mean, it made sense. It was right before Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I don't get why they hide from it.
My brother Nick, his big complaint, normally my brother Matthew chimes in on these, but Nick's big complaint was that IG-88 did something.
Oh, yeah, IG-88 is in the trailer for Mandalorian.
Big fan of IG-88.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Coat Rex.
Right, but he did like a behind the back. I'm motioning with my arm that you can't see, but he did like a behind the back shot, like a trick shot. And my brother thought that was like a little jokey.
That's what he does, though. He could spin around. And now, if you played Star Wars: Shadow of the Empire for Nintendo 64, which I did religiously, you fight IG-88.
Oh, okay.
And he does all that.
That's a signature move.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, again, if you're only going by what you know from Empire Strikes Back, as far as you know, he does absolutely nothing.
Right, he's like a stripped down Dalek.
He's a totem pole. He literally does nothing. I want to see him spinning around. Supposedly when I heard this is not IG-88, this is another IG-88,
like IG-87.
I guess I don't know. I mean,
I
was expecting IG-88. This is bullshit.
Well, I'll tell you. Well, because the Mandalorian is not Boba Fett.
Well, they didn't say that.
I thought they.
The show takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so who knows?
Right, he could have crawled out of that Sarlacc pit.
We do not know.
Okay.
He could be Boba Fett in a new outfit. He could be Jango Fett with his head sewn back on.
Right.
He could be Boba Fett's slow cousin, Bobo Fett. Mongo Fett. I don't know why they named their kid Mongo.
Shemp
Fett.
Okay, well, look, here's what I love about it. It's Star Wars.
And it had Werner Herzog. Is that how you say his name in the trailer?
Werner or Werner?
I don't know.
Yeah,
depends how German you want to be.
Well, it's like a Western. This is like a Western, and that's kind of it's a cool thing.
I don't know what it's going to be until I actually see it. Yeah. I'm still not sure if I'm going to get it at Disney Plus. I'm not ready yet. I'm very. That's a decision I have to make, and I'm not good at making a decision. So
call in the team.
That's a life-changing decision.
Buddy Cat T.
Yeah, I have to get Buddy involved. Like I asked my dog Snoopy and Charlie. Guess I asked my wife and son too.
Well, we have Hulu. And I'd be glad to talk about any Hulu original programming in exchange for, Hulu service.
Sure, Hulu and Disney Plus. Why don't you pay us?
Well, it's going to be
talking about it. Give me free advertising for 10 people. What did you said we were 501 in the USA?
The Apple has
number 7 in the Czech Republic.
7 in the Czech. Well, our Spaceballs episode is number 7 in the Czech Republic.
What?
Yeah, we
are blowing the fuck up.
Oh yeah, man. We are routinely in the top 10 briefly, and then we linger in the top 50 episode by episode in the Czech Republic.
That is crazy. I don't.
Did I tell you I joined a Czech group on Facebook? That's
funny.
Yeah, and I asked them, and none of them had any idea of why we would be popular.
They're like, there's a lot of people that live here. We're not.
Exactly.
Oh my God, it's Wyatt's Goat. I can't believe it.
I didn't say why we I didn't say, hey, do you know our show and why we're popular? I asked are American podcasts popular in the Czech Republic?
Yeah.
Just as a general point of interest. But they mostly wanted to talk about recipes from the homeland. So I didn't get a lot
Are you
of
kidding? Or
No, I'm serious. Like they every
borscht.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's Russian.
No, but,
actually, I've eaten at Czech restaurants, and
what do you say at the end after you're done eating?
May I have the bill, please?
No, it's check, please.
Oh, I know. And then they're like, they get confused. They're like, what?
All right. So,
then we were number 501.
It was like 508. It was the low 500s in the U.S.
Okay, now I know anyone who's listening to this is probably thinking like, who cares? That's insane.
Yeah.
Like a month or two ago, we were like in the 700s for like a second.
And this is for the whole show, not just for a single episode.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Right.
Ben Shapiro.
Watch your back, Ellen.
Watch your back. Watch your back. What's that other one? The Breakfast Club?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Soon we'll have to have candidates come in your kitchen, kiss our ass.
Right.
With our reach of, hey, listen, you want to get the vote of the Czech Republic?
Yeah.
You're going to have to talk to the YS Goat.
Big expatriate community. I never thought maybe YS Goat means something. Like the word itself.
They think it means something, and we're like,
it probably means something.
Clueless to what it is. It's something repulsive.
It's like free cash giveaway or something like that. It's like,
they're constantly listening, hoping it.
Right.
That's a big deal, guys. 501 or 508, whatever. But regardless, that means we're 500 away from number one.
Yeah.
Everyone has a podcast in the United States.
Right.
We are inching up.
Yeah.
Watch out, Guy Fieri's podcast.
Yeah.
Every other celebrity that has podcast.
Take that with a side of donkey sauce.
We'll take you to
Flavor Town.
Yeah, whatever it is you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is the big trailer.
Yes.
Or it's not even a trailer. I would call it a series of teaser images.
Yes.
It's like, I feel like they didn't have a trailer really ready.
It's like a PowerPoint presentation.
It was. They had a couple new images with a big stinger in the end.
Yes.
I think the real trailer probably won't be out for a couple weeks.
Right, and this is for episode 9.
Yep.
The last story.
Rise of the Skywalker. We talked about it before.
Right.
So I'm going to play it in the background, but we're not going to put the sound on because we don't want to get in trouble. So just, you can imagine. Now, I know the beginning of this thing, more than half of it is just a bunch of recap stuff from the earlier movies.
Well, they go through all the movies. They start with the original 3, and then they go to the prequels.
Right. They're not done in actual order. They don't start with episode 1.
Right.
They start with Luke with the 2 sons.
Yep. 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And then 7, 8.
Yep.
And here we are
at 9.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into it in a little bit, and I have some funny things to talk about. And it's not about making fun of the movie; it's more making fun of other people. Okay, so then we get that Rey when she looks like she's. I always love that image of her holding the lightsaber, and she's like, oh.
It's almost
when
like
she's fighting Kylo for the first time in Force Awakens, when she the Force wakes in her.
Right. Yeah, it is pretty literal, but it's a good. I love that image. It's a good one.
Can make all kinds of jokes, but we're not going to do that in Moesco because we're number 508. We have to bring the standards and practices now.
Right.
We're gonna have some big advertisers soon.
Yeah.
And we don't want to piss off. I'm trying to think of who's the one with the farm equipment?
Oh, John Deere.
John Deere. They're very conservative. We don't want to piss them off. Right. John Deere. Here, John Deere. You want to listen to? Here's a funny. This is a real quick segue, but that's what we do.
Oh yeah.
One's working for this company, licensing company. They were trying to get John Deere, and well,
yeah, no, I've seen
there'd be a lot
trucker
of
caps.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of assholes
who
who would want to wear this. I mean, great Americans, and of course hipsters would wear it. It'd just be this whole thing. This was 10 years ago.
Yes, it was a hipster.
Yeah. But I remember when they were talking to the guy, the licensing person, and they don't really license their stuff out like that.
Right, I can see that.
Yeah, it's like Pabst Blue Ribbon doesn't really do that too much either. I think they do it more now, but back in the day they would never. So this one guy, he was telling them well, we don't want our shirts getting out because we don't want Ashton Kutcher types wearing our clothes. And I was like, what the hell does that even mean?
Yeah, right.
You're just a bunch of overtly conservative assholes. But I just sounded funny, oh no, not Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton,
oh my god, that's horrible.
Yeah.
They don't want to get punked, you know?
Right.
Or have any weird butterfly effects. John Deere.
Yeah.
They got a brand to protect.
Right. That's a tough one. All right, so we got... Okay, so we got...
Yeah, so we're back to episode 9. So the first image we see is the gang. Mm-hmm. And by the gang, I mean Poe.
Yep.
Finn. Ray.
Yeah.
C-3PO.
Yes.
Chewie.
Mm-hmm.
Some lady that might be Lando's daughter.
Yeah, right.
Maybe. And then, but they go out, and it's like this big desert, and it looks like they're going to Burning Man.
Yeah, it does. It's got a very... Well, Burning Man kind of looks like Tatooine, too. Yeah, but it's a wild...
So be careful what you eat there, guys.
Yeah, right? You wind up like that girl from The Great Hack. That's all it took for her to sell us out to Russia.
Go to Burning Man?
Yeah, remember that with a girl...
Brittany Kaiser?
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
Yeah, Ray goes to Burning Man, and now she's working for the Emperor.
Next thing you know, she's like,
oh, there's so much fun to hang out with, Emperor Palpatine. Yeah, I don't agree 100% with him, but,
he makes me laugh.
If you ever spend, go out a couple bars in Coruscant or wherever.
I was shooting blast text down at his ranch. And
it's just a good old time.
Yeah, just nailing womp rats.
Yes, my new apprentice. Oh, sorry. Okay, so and then the next scene is a image of Leia that might be doctored.
Yeah, right.
And then there's followed by familiar ships.
Oh, yeah. And it's like a fleet of old school Star Destroyers.
No, well, not that one. The first one is the Rebels.
Right.
And you even see, they call it that Tantum 4 or whatever it is. It's the original ship that is fleeing from the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, the blockade runner.
Yeah, blockade runner. So all those show up, and then the next scene is a freaking 1,000 Star Destroyers, and it's like, that's ridiculous.
Well, did you read the books? The Admiral...
I can't read.
The Admiral Thrawn books. There was a subplot where the Emperor had been stockpiling weapons.
Okay, so those don't mean anything. There's a legacy. You're talking about I did read those. I barely remember them. You're talking about the new trilogy that never happened. Yeah, the book series, the Thrawn trilogy, they call it. But technically, those were episode 7 through 9.
At the time, they were.
And then after, around the time when the prequels were coming out, they're like, these are never going to be the movies.
Right.
So people quickly disregarded them. But they brought Thrawn into canon. He was on Rebels. And he's been in a lot of stuff recently. And he is supposed to be a character that's from the outer region.
Yes.
And there's all these theories about Palpatine with the outer region,
It's a great scene in the trailer. All these, and it's beautiful, like these big warships.
And these are different looking ships. They've got little red stripes in them.
Yep.
So these ain't your mama's Star Destroyers.
No. But they're also not the New Order's Star Destroyers.
No.
I mean, they're old school Star Destroyers that are kind of like
touched up.
Yeah. Yes. Got an effects package.
Yeah.
It's from the
they got a spoiler on it. Speaking of which, the other day we were driving and we saw a Civic that was completely sported out.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, in the end of the day, this cannot be cheap to do all this. But I'm like, in the end of the day, it's a Civic. No offense, I've driven a Civic.
Oh, yeah.
But it's Civics. Like, the thing I would never think of was like...
Why would you turn your Civic into a $70,000 car?
Yeah, at that... Yeah, I always thought that was bizarre. So okay. So then let me go back because so like I said, we see a weird shot of. Okay, so there's that, and then there's Finn and the new girl looking out the window, looking all scared. And then C-3PO with red eyes. Yeah, he's got pink eye.
Yeah, well,
probably changing diapers or something.
Looks angry.
Nothing is more scary than an angry C-3PO.
A protocol droid that's gone rogue.
Yeah. Nothing more frightening than that. And then there's a big laser shooting crap. So people are speculating what that is. I say that's a laser shooting crap.
Yep, I think you're spot on.
And then here's Ray fighting a little robot in a forest, the little training droid. Yep. And she's, I guess, training.
Yeah, well, she's got the blue lightsaber.
Yep.
And she's kind of chucking it around all like...
Doing like it's a boomerang.
Right, yep.
She's got a weird red bandage on her hand.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about, but we'll have to wait and find out. Mm-hmm. And then the next scene is Kylo coming out of a ship, and he looks cool, and he shoots out his lightsaber. That's cool.
Yep.
And then, let's see. And then here's Rey and Kylo fighting on the wreckage of the second Death Star in the water, mirroring the great battle, the 30-minute the 30-minute lightsaber battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin in the lava.
Right, because
fire and
it
water.
looks very Episode 3.
Yeah, except like a million times better.
Well, yeah.
It actually looks pretty amazing.
Right, and it probably is preceded by a coherent plot.
Yeah. I have a higher ground. So Kyle was fighting Rey, and they were like, "Yeah, we kind of expect that to happen." And the next scene, you hear like a Darth Vader noise.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, there's this. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's Rey with like a Swiss
two lightsabers.
Lightsaber.
She swings it and it turns into a staff, and she's all like sicked out.
Yes.
And everybody's got little theories. We're not going to come up with any new theories. I do like the meme that was going around where someone turned it into a Swiss Army knife. That was pretty amazing.
You and I were talking about that. Someone on Reddit called her Darth Preparedness or something, which was really funny.
But the fact that that person had to have made it that in that 20 minutes to get that out there. I mean, that thing that was literally out no joke after whoever
it was quick. It was quick.
That thing went everywhere. Mark Hamill retweeted it.
Yeah.
So we talked about it, and like I said, everybody's got their theories, but I got my theories. Ooh. You said that you think that it's all going to be revealed that all Star Wars is in a snow globe.
Right.
Of what's that kid's name?
Oh gosh, I forget. It's the kid from St. Elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it's his shared universe.
Yes.
And you're going to find out at the very end. You're going to have this flashback to Hoth.
Yep.
And then there's going to be an earthquake. But it's not an earthquake. It's the kid shaking the snow globe.
Yep.
And you realize that this has all been occurring within the snow globe outside of St. Eligius.
Yeah,
so,
I hope that's what happens.
I do.
I want Rey is evil, but it's like a joke, and she ends up in jail, man.
Oh, and
she's telling stand-up jokes.
Right, like a Seinfeld.
Like Seinfeld, like they're all in jail, man. I want it to end like that. Or the classic, the best ending ever.
Yes.
Is Newhart style.
Yeah.
Where Anakin wakes up in bed.
Yep.
Next to Padme.
Right.
And he's like, I had the worst nightmare. And she's like, go back to bed or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
And then you hear Luke and Leia crying.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That would be a sweet ending. I think a lot of people would be pissed off, and that would be what we call a franchise killer.
Yes, kind of like the Star Killer.
I would enjoy it. I would like it. I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I like dumb shit, and I think the executives of Disney wouldn't.
Right.
They're like, hey, you know all that stuff you like? Well, that was just a wacky dream.
Right.
And we referenced Bob Newhart.
Right. Yeah.
Or we could have, again, we could go even crazier and have Obi-Wan waking up in bed next to Amidala.
I like that.
Yeah. Or he wakes up in bed, or it's old Obi-Wan waking up, or ghost Obi-Wan waking up in bed with ghost Yoda, and then ghost Anakin comes in, and then ghost Qui-Gon comes in, and they're like...
Yeah.
And it just turns into a ghost party.
Right.
And the Monster Mash.
Yeah, I can see that. Or you could even have Padme wake up and she realizes that Chewbacca, the cowardly lion, was really just the mailman.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
You could have and you were there.
No, it would be Rey.
It would be Rey. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. There's a lot of different directions they could go.
There's a lot of different directions.
All gold.
All gold. And they would be so good because people that make YouTube videos, their hatred of SJW, Star Wars, whatever they like to call it, their brains wouldn't be able to process how stupid it is.
Yeah,
they'd be like,
right.
I think they would. Yeah, they would die. They would be like, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah, it would. Yes, it would be
whatever it does, whatever it will do. There will be thousands and thousands of YouTube videos complaining, saying that Disney, Star Wars have an evil SJW agenda.
Yep. Cheers to that.
Tricking young people into being a bunch of bigots and not realizing it. I want to do an image of the Force Awakens poster, and it says Star Wars puts a girl in it, and now people are researching phrenology.
Right.
Their phrenology awakens.
I feel like we have like thousands of kids feeling their heads and stuff. Yeah.
I want to I really want to get active in I'm so tired of seeing all these right wing geek gamers and all that. I'm like, no, you got it wrong. You guys are not that culture is supposed to be counterculture.
Right.
Liberals are not I know that they are told that liberals are the establishment. It's like, dude, you are the establishment.
Yeah. Do you remember that song by the Dead Kennedys, that Nazi punks fuck off?
Yes.
That always struck me as the perfect line. It's like, in the real Third Reich, you'd be or in the real Fourth Reich, you'd be the first to go. All these people that are if there really were to be this awful movement, they wouldn't be part of it. They're like these.
Well, they'd be part of it in the beginning, and then they'd be the first. Yeah, it's like I said, my favorite was when after the El Paso shooting, when Trump and all the Republicans did what they usually do,
right?
And they said that it was video games, and all these. Like we said, all these right-wing Twitch, all these right-wing geek pages and YouTubes, they didn't know what to do. They lost their mind. And
you had that 5-panel cartoon, right? That was
10,
it was exactly it. They
well, they're like, our job is to trick kids into voting a certain way or believing in a certain way,
right?
By taking something they like and morphing it into something terrible, and you're. Yeah, killing it.
Yeah, it was like a moment of pure cognitive disconnect. They couldn't process it, but at the end, they were at least able to own the libs.
And that's all that matters. Yeah. That's all that matters. The world's burning. The world's on fire. Right. Literally. And but at the end of the day, got to own those libs.
Yeah, right? It's the small things.
It's the things that matter.
All right, I'm really looking forward to this. I think it'll be bittersweet, the episode 9, simply because, look, I Star Wars came out when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And and I don't remember much from before being 8. I have little snippets, but I don't have a real clear linear memory.
Just shit in your pants.
Yeah,
until
basically.
You saw Star Wars.
And then
you
eating paste and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not a terribly big exaggeration to say Star Wars has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember.
I'm as old as Star Wars.
Yeah.
It dominates. It owns my life.
Right.
I'm literally born in the year of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's I died after Elvis. I died. I'm alive. That makes no sense. I was born. Boo. I was born after Elvis.
Yeah.
After the Son of Sam. Good.
Right.
Good thing to be associated.
Dodged the bullet there.
Dodged the bullet there, thankfully. Sid Vicious, was that year? I think it's 78, right?
Yeah, I'll bet you were around for a year.
But I'm a post-Elvis baby.
Yeah.
But I'm a Star Wars. Star Wars owns me.
Right. Well, what month is your birthday?
September.
Okay, so yeah, you were...
Star Wars came out in May.
3 months old or 4 months old. Yeah, it came out May 19th or
Yeah,
something.
so I was in my mom's stomach. She saw it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't really see it until I was 6.
Right.
But, I think... We'll move on to...
Were you tested for midichlorians? No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, I wish. Yeah, because remember, everything, they established all that stuff.
Yeah.
Lucas had that Bible. They didn't change anything.
No.
Oh, yeah, they knew that Darth Vader was going to be the father. Yeah,
out.
Everything was planned out. They didn't make up shit as they went along. When they were like, why are you going to have Luke and Leia kiss? Right. They're brother and sister.
Yeah.
You knew that. And they're like, we're doing it to fuck with the audience. They're like... Not because they just
libs owned.
You had to own the libs, and they're like, "What?" They're like, "You'll find out in 2015 or 16 when they start saying that."
It's a slow burn.
It's a slow, yeah. They're gonna own. Lucas did to own the libs by doing incest. So that's what they've been doing in Alabama. Yeah. They're just trying to own the libs by keeping that family tree down to a mop pole. So. Yeah, my biggest fear of this movie, and this is stupid, but my biggest fear is that they do time travel. I really hope they do. I know that's a theory that's going around. And I said that, I remember we talked about Endgame, Avengers Endgame, and I said, I hope they don't do time travel, and you said they will, and they did. The whole movie was time travel, but they did it in a good way. I liked it. Star Wars, it's like...
Well, Star Wars has no precedent
They did do time travel stuff in Rebels, which is a cartoon.
Okay.
And in Clone Wars. But, again, not everyone that's going to see this movie does not watch Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Rebels. They have no idea.
Right. Well,
I'm the majority of the people who thought Darth Maul was dead since episode
Right. Well,
1.
I did see those. I watched maybe generously a third of the Star Wars animated.
Yeah, I didn't watch all the Clone Wars. I watched all the ones with Darth Maul. I watched all the ones that felt like that were important, at least with characters I liked.
Right.
And then I watched Rebels with Darth Vader was in it. It was like awesome.
Yes.
And I saw like the last couple episodes, but they touch on that. But I can't believe that they'll use that. I think it's too. People's heads are going to explode when they watch it. They're going to be like, no, it's like. To introduce that into the last part of your 9-part series is weird.
Yeah.
It's like, that's something you do like in the middle or something.
Right.
You know, like you throw in like...
Yeah, some
element.
semblance of it. I mean, I guess like, I don't know.
I guess maybe using force visions, they could like review the past and do things like that. But to like go back in time and fix the past, I just hope that's not.
I hope they don't. Yeah, and most of it is because to me it felt kind of natural in the Marvel movies. I mean, it seemed like a part of the Marvel. You had the time stone, so like
but it makes sense. But that's Marvel, and it's its own thing.
Apples and oranges.
But like, I think again, it's like these movies, and that's why I always said like everything outside the movies. Like, even though I may buy some of it and enjoy it, in the end of the day, I know all that matters is episode 1 through 9.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Everything else outside of it, you could say even talk about Rogue One and Solo. They don't mean shit in the end.
Right.
It's all about 1 through 9. And if you introduce an element that somebody has to go buy a book to get, go watch a cartoon series, you kind of failed.
Yeah.
All the information that the viewer should need.
It should be in the text.
It should be in there. Then it's not a movie.
It wasn't built. Yeah, it wouldn't have been built well. I have less of a feeling that they'll do time travel. I could see them doing
force visions.
Yeah, like some. I don't want to say time travel light, but like some.
Do you think Rey is a clone, and she's a series of clones? They kind of hint. That's the other thing. If you watch Last Jedi, when she's like whatever the cave or underwater, you see like 1,000 rays, and then when you see like what she thinks is her parents, and it becomes one shadow. It's like she is not like, so this Darth Rey we're seeing in the end, whatever she's called, is not Rey.
It could be a different entity, like a different I know what you mean, a clone of Rey.
I honestly think even in that case it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I don't see. Look.
Like, I would have introduced that in 8. Had that element introduced in 8 in the end as, like, a stinger and been like, oh,
shit.
It
is weird, like, it is weird that clones are clearly a part of the Star Wars universe, but they're not, like, a wide...
They're never used in... That's the problem. They're used only in Episode 2 and 3. Right. They're mentioned once in 4, never to be mentioned again. Until Kylo says one quick line to General Hux. Yeah. Oh, should I order up some clones or something? And it's like, haha, see, we acknowledge those movies. Yeah. And that's never mentioned again.
That is stupid.
Like, I don't. It's a weird element. The clone. We just did a whole episode on Clone Wars last, and I don't feel like it's not talked about ever, and just to have that in the last.
It seems like, look, Star Wars A New Hope had a Clone War mentioned in it. They kind of got hamstrung into having to follow through on that. I don't think they had really thought it through at the time. And then you have this weird...
It's like a throwaway line. It's like, it said, like, my father helped me fight in the Battle of Boogity Doogity. Yeah. And you were general in the Balkans.
Yeah.
You were general... you helped my father in... taking down Saigon or something. I mean, it could be like,
basically.
It could be anything. It was just some space bullshit. Like, what's science? Clones is science.
Right.
I mean, they could have just said Space Wars. Yeah. Or they could have just said the Star Wars. Which is funny. No one ever says that in the movie. Yeah. Damn it, these Star Wars are. When will they end, these wars in the stars?
I'll bet you that was like. I'll bet you Lucas didn't even.
Do you think anyone will say? Well, originally called like Star Killer or something.
Yes, Star Killer.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that as the final credits roll, you hear like Nick the Lounge Lizard with his classic rendition of like Star Wars.
Oh, you're talking about Bill Murray?
Murray's
Yeah,
version,
I hope so too. Only if they do the Bob Newhart ending, though.
Yes.
Because if they don't do the Bob Newhart ending, it's
Right.
going to feel out of place.
Right,
I kind of hope that one of them says, finally, these Star Wars are over.
But I hope they do it like all overwrought, like these wars, these damn Star Wars. You know, something like that.
Like Finn says that. I could see him saying that. Like, you can't just come out and say Star Wars.
Right.
Damn it. What's the matter? These wars, they're driving me crazy. These wars in the
stars.
Damn Star Wars.
Yeah.
Man, that sounds stupid.
Right.
I can't believe I just said that. They would throw that in because now everything has to sound like a Marvel movie.
Right.
Okay, so there'll be another trailer.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about it. You know
Absolutely.
why? Because we're going to talk about Star Wars. It owns.
Yeah.
It will never end.
No, it won't. It won't. All right.
And I'll never let it end.
No.
I need it. I need it to live.
Yeah.
It's like another an outside organ on my body that.
It is. Well, it's funny because like so much of like the way we'll move on to Inglorious Basterds in a second, but so much of the way I like conceptualize just even storytelling is like based on Star Wars. Like, and I know Star Wars is based on Joseph Campbell's myth of hero's journey.
Classic.
Right.
I always read that.
But like it. I can't look at like Harry Potter without saying, "Oh, well, that's the Obi-Wan character." Oh no, that's the Darth Vader character.
Right.
That's the
those archetypes are everything.
Right.
And Star Wars like nails it. And like I said, yes, these characters have existed before.
Yes.
There's always been a princess. There's been a hero. There's been a scoundrel.
Well, Lord of the Rings happened before Star Wars.
But there was no Lord of the Rings movie before there was a Star Wars movie.
Right. And
that Ralph Bakshi shit doesn't count.
Yeah.
Nice try, guys. You want to go to bed? You don't need Ambien.
Right.
Watch
Wizards.
Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings.
That's a tough one.
You will go to Snooze Town within 5 minutes. Sorry. I love you, Ralph Bakshi.
He's really good. Did you see Wizards? You saw Wizards, obviously.
And that will put you to sleep, too.
That will also put you to sleep.
Yes, you don't need Ambien.
No.
Just find copies of these movies.
I will, though, say that
you go to Sleepy Town.
I don't think Wizards makes you racist. And I've heard that Ambien can sometimes...
Oh, yeah. But that's only if you have a revived...
pre-existing racist condition.
Yeah, if you have a pre-existing racist condition and your hit show from the 90s is revived.
Right.
And you're an out-of-control moron...
Yeah.
And then you tweet something racist and then claim that you're not being racist just to make it worse.
Right. You were just taking Ambien after a few
and then you don't admit to it. Yeah, loose meat. Yeah, those loose meat sandwiches.
Yeah.
And then you get fired and they change the name of the show.
That could be the end of Star Wars.
Kill
it's
you.
like they win the lottery and then they find out that
yeah, they're like, we don't need to be in these Star Wars anymore, and they they go back to Canto Bite, or whatever that shit was called in Last Jedi. Because everyone loved that scene.
Right.
And it just ends there with them all, Finn and them. They're all playing. Rey's wearing a sexy dress.
Yeah, right.
I'll shut those right wing geeks up. They'll be like, oh yeah, and then finally.
She's in the kitchen making loose meat sandwiches.
Tweeting racist shit. Getting fired.
Taking space Ambien.
Space Ambien. No, death sticks. That was it. That's the shit I forgot to talk about in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, yeah.
I hated that scene.
Yeah.
Because it was, like, so stupid. Like, he goes in and, like, you want to buy some death sticks? And I'm like, why is he talking like that? Did you just get the worst actor you could find? Why is it called Death Sticks?
Joey Fatone? Is that you?
Yeah.
Which NSYNC member is that?
Oh, so dumb. Okay.
All right.
Inglorious Basterds.
Inglorious Basterds. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Inglorious Basterds.
Okay, so Inglorious Basterds is what happens when you tell a person that there was this thing called World War II.
Yes.
And you tell them that there were a couple... You give them a couple of historical facts.
Yeah.
And you tell him nothing else.
Yeah.
And he says, okay, I'm going to make a World War II movie.
Yeah.
That it just completely ignores history.
Right. I used to teach history in high school. And
I love the movie, though.
And Inglorious Basterds is essentially the average 10th grader's...
10th? I would say 7th.
It's no.
My son probably knows more about World War II.
It's the average 10th grader's understanding of World War II if they stayed awake through most of the class. That's how they...
I think you're still being kind saying 10th grade. I would say junior high level.
Okay, so, yeah, it's a World War II movie.
Yes.
And Quentin
Tarantino. It came out... Well, okay, so he did the Kill Bill series.
Yes.
And I don't really want to talk about his own movies.
No.
Because I do want to talk about his other movies. I'm
a
big fan of his. I like it. I just saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right.
You didn't see it.
I have not seen that.
Well, okay. Well, they take some liberties with history in that. I'm not going to talk about it.
Well, let me rewind just for a quick second. I always get confused with Quentin Tarantino because in his new movies he says like the 9th film by Quentin Tarantino. But I know in my head like, look, the guy's had a ton of films.
Well, he's done a lot of writing and producing, but he did not. His actual movies.
He's counting the ones he directs.
Yeah.
Now
Does he even count Death Proof?
Well, I can tell you.
So you got Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown.
Yep.
Then you got Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Yep.
And then you have, I guess, if you want to count Death Proof.
Death Proof, he directed, yes.
Yep. And then you have Django Unchained.
Nope, you have Inglorious Basterds.
Oh, Inglorious Basterds, sorry. Then Django.
Django.
And then Hateful Eight.
Yep.
And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
And I found it interesting that when he did Inglorious Basterds, it was cool because all his movies kind of took place in a modern time, or at least, like some permanent 70s, like
today,
but it's still today. And then he goes back in time and does like a history piece, that fits kind of into his universe. He has like I feel like all his movies, the Pixar theory.
Yes.
Well, there's definitely a Quentin Tarantino. That's all one universe.
Well, I know
he has characters that get mentioned in other things.
Yep, the Venga brothers.
Even another movie that counts in it is True Romance. It is considered part of the Tarantino universe, even though he didn't direct it, but I guess he wrote it.
So with Roger Avery, I think
one of the characters is a producer when they're in like. And he's related to, you find out after Inglorious Basterds that he's related to one of the bastards. He's like a nephew or whatever of the.
Well, aren't the characters in From Dusk Till Dawn somehow related in there too?
I guess it gets kind of. I feel like people don't just because it's so fantasy and horror that people don't really count that in the Tarantino universe, even though. It's exaggerated, but there's no vampires as far as we know in the Tarantino universe. I don't know. It's a weird one. I think characters, there might be some link.
Yeah. Well, I just thought that when they hijacked the Winnebago with Harvey Keitel and Juliette Lewis in it, that the Quentin Tarantino character mentioned some caper that they had been on, and that I kind of assumed...
like that they bumped into like one of the Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah, something like that.
It's probably possibility. Wrong. I think it might be.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Well,
anyway, so and we can go back to talk about it more in depth, but the Inglorious Basterds, to me, started... The first 2 scenes were amazing, and they were all pretty straight World War II fiction genre, whatever. But then when they introduced one of the bastards... There's like a real stylized 70s text on the screen, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot, we're in a Tarantino movie.
Yeah, I will say the movie, and I don't know about the rest of it, I feel like all his movies, he's known for doing like long scenes.
Yeah.
Unlike other movies that like have scene here, scene there, scene there, he'll consistently have like a narrative flow. Maybe the background might change, or maybe, but it's like everything's like defined chapters.
Yeah.
I don't remember Jackie Brown. I have to see that one again.
There was a lot of big scenes in that. They feel more like plays. Like
you
could produce Reservoir Dogs in a theater.
Yeah, you could probably produce Definitely produced Hateful Eight in the theater.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't like that one. That was like a little disappointing.
I thought it was fine.
It was all right. I got to rewatch it. They I think Netflix broke it down into a series.
They turned it into a mini series basically.
Yeah. So I kind of want to watch that. But Inglorious Basterds is definitely it's segmented, and it's definitely not what's advertised. When you see the movie, you definitely you see the trailers. They show a lot of the war stuff. They show the bastards holding guns. Funny thing is, you never really see them engaged in battle. You only see the aftermath when they're cutting off scalps. But you do see them do some there are some battles in the end.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But there's no ever straight up war movie scene, long drawn out battle.
It's not like a Saving Private Ryan.
And I'm fine with that. That wouldn't fit into Tarantino. There's no reason for that.
It's not his style.
No, it doesn't fit. You know how they want. Supposedly they've been tossing around him doing a Star Trek.
Yeah,
that's I don't know. That's weird. I mean, if he wants to do it, go ahead. But it just doesn't. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean. I'm not against it. It's just one of those. Why put yourself through that if you're him?
Well,
I don't know. He's the kind of person he should just handle his own shit.
Yeah.
And never do other properties.
Right.
Or if he does it, maybe guest as a director on a TV show but not a movie. Not something that's yeah, that's such a weird property.
You have so many restrictions placed on you with Star Trek.
Unless they say, go to town, we want to see what you do. We're not going to consider this canon.
Right.
We want you to do, what if Star Trek existed in your universe?
Yeah.
And you made a Star Trek movie that takes place. Yeah. And then it could be really good. I don't know.
He would have been great with what is the one where they went back to modern day San Francisco?
Yeah.
Do you remember which one was that? They saved the whales or something? 4. Yeah, but what was the subtitle of that? The Return Home?
Yeah, I think Voyage Home.
Voyage Home. Yeah. That would have been the perfect Tarantino vehicle for Star Trek. Right. So, yeah. Okay,
I always like the part when they're on the bus or something and he says that Spock's a hippie.
Yes.
And it's that makes sense.
Yeah, right?
He's an old guru.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, so Inglorious Basterds, I agree with you. I remember when they were advertising it, it was a lot of Brad Pitt and machine guns and the Eli Roth character with his...
The Bear Jew.
Yeah, with his bat. And it looked like it was going to be more of a Kill Bill-ish action type of...
Yeah, I'd say Kill Bill definitely has a lot of action pieces, but it also has a lot of slow moments too.
Right.
Especially the second one.
But Inglorious Basterds, to me, is almost like 2 separate movies.
I mean, okay, so the beginning of the movie is technically the past, or early 40s, and you see a French, a house in France, and then the Nazis show up, and they want, that's when you're introduced to the one of the best characters,
Christopher Waltz.
What's his name?
What is his name in the?
I don't know. The guy owns the house, and clearly something's up.
A French dairy farmer.
Yeah. And Hans Landa, Christopher Waltz. I mean, I think I don't know how much of an established actor he was, but this definitely made his career in America. He is a German actor.
Yeah, he's from Austria, but he speaks German.
Yeah.
And Tarantino was originally going to get Leonardo DiCaprio for that role.
Oh, really?
That's what I read this morning.
I'm glad he got this guy.
But then Tarantino's like, no, I want someone who actually speaks German.
Yeah.
And he got this guy.
Yeah. And he's amazing in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's it's like you forget he's a Nazi.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a good villain because... And we're going to spoil this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not going to just talk about this movie in order.
Right.
What's fucked up about him is he is super likable. He's super charismatic. He's if you met him he'd host a party in your neighborhood. He was the fucking nicest guy in the world. You would never know he was this cruel Nazi that hunted people down and killed them.
Oh, yeah.
Which is he's a detective, and it's kind of funny. I guess, we could talk about this in order, but I guess it doesn't really matter, right? We don't need to
I mean, yeah.
But, he knows, he's aware of everything that's going on. When the bastards show up at the movie theater and everything.
Yes.
he's totally onto it but he doesn't care. He wants to he's like an opportunist. He sees that the Nazis are done. He wants the war to end. He wants to go fuck off somewhere. He wants to live a nice life somewhere else.
Yeah, he's a very villainous monster. But he's very likable.
Well written.
Yep. Well acted.
He's a very in-depth villain.
Oh yeah.
He's one of the best villains in cinema, actually.
Yeah, I can see that.
And again, talk about Star Wars. I can bring up stupid villains. One of them is General Grievous. When he's introduced and he's like, hey. It's so stupid. It's like the guy who ties the woman up on the train track in an old 1910s movie.
Right, twirling his mustache.
Yeah, it's oh my god, it's the bad guy. There's no depth. It's just he's a bad guy. Yeah. But this guy is
what's his motivation? He's bad.
He's evil. Look at that mustache. He's twirling it. But this guy...
You see the black hat?
But this guy, it's a different level.
Yeah, nice guy.
Like I said, you would want to... If you met him... Maybe outside the Nazi uniform. Mm-hmm. Unless that's your thing.
Right, yeah. Well, that's you, Tequila Tequila.
Yeah. Looking at you. Specifically you.
Specifically you, Tequila Tequila.
She sees... That's her favorite movie. But
right.
She has a special edited version.
Yes.
Where nothing bad happens to the Nazis. They see a movie in the end.
She calls it a tragedy.
That's all cut out. They just see the movie. Yeah. The guy shooting her, she cheers along. The movie ends. Yeah. It's a great film. The Nazis live on. So, yeah, you're introduced to him, and he's talking to the guy, and
the farmer.
He insists on talking English, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I just found that interesting. Why wouldn't you talk German, or wouldn't you say, what doesn't matter? We're watching a movie. Actually, when he does that, it's okay, we're definitely watching a Tarantino
Yes, because he's look, it's so meta, clearly we should be talking German or French, yet we're going to speak in English.
And this guy happens to dairy fiber from France.
Right. Happens
to know English very well. Which, I could see him knowing English because he's this,
urbane.
Yeah. Who cares? Doesn't matter. But he had his reasons for talking English. Because he knew that he was hiding a whole family of Jewish people under the floorboards. Yeah. So then he reverts back to speaking French. Yeah. And then that's when he leaves. They bring in the Nazis. They shoot the floorboards. Everyone dies except for one person.
Shoshana.
Wait, what does he say? Au revoir?
Yeah. Au revoir.
Au revoir, Shoshana. Yeah. Why didn't he kill her? He could have killed her.
He looked...
I'm glad he didn't, because then the movie would have been over. But.
Well, some of that, lends...
Is his arrogance? It plays into his arrogance. He's this nice guy, but he is a fucking villain, man, and he is very arrogant.
I went both ways on this. On one hand, I was look, maybe they're showing that he's redeemable. He's
not redeemable.
No, he's not. But I was wondering, maybe Tarantino wants the audience to think he's redeemable.
Or maybe it's also to show that he doesn't really give a shit.
Right. He's I did my job.
He's got the name Jew Hunter, but he hates the name.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Jewish people. He is a fucking Nazi. Yeah, he is a piece of shit. But he has, other aspirations.
Right. Well, and he's not terribly... he's good at his job, I guess, but he's he just kind of treats it as a job. If
clearly he was doing something else before the Nazis came.
Yes, but if your job is to make 75 widgets that day, and you get through 74 and one falls into the drain, you're I'm gonna go home. Maybe that was his mindset.
Probably,
which is horrible in itself.
Right. But that was his job. Yeah, no, it's true.
The other thing was, I wondered, because that was the first thing, and then I thought maybe that was just how Tarantino said...
Thank you for comparing Jewish people to widgets.
Well, that's...
piece of shit!
I was saying that was what his...
I'm kidding,
I know you're kidding, but that was... It was so...
The Kill Bill music.
It was so... He was so dehumanized of the thing. But the other thing I was maybe this is the classic movie trope, because Tarantino already said, look, we're going to speak English, kind of nodding to the audience, hey, we got to speak English so you can understand this. That this is
not a foreign movie.
Right, that this is the oh, there's going to be one that gets away, and the audience is supposed to know immediately she's going to be the one that causes your downfall.
You don't know that, though.
You don't know that yet.
The audience doesn't know that. But when you rewatch it, then you realize.
Right. So, all right. But
okay, so then that scene's over.
Yeah, and it's a great scene.
Yeah, no, it's a great scene, and just like old Tarantino scenes, I think that clocks in at 15 minutes?
It was a while. I rewatched this last Friday, and it was a long... It doesn't feel long, but it's a long scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next scene is finally introduced to the Bastards, and you're introduced to Brad Pitt's character.
Yep, Aldo Rain.
Yeah, he's like a total character. He is like a cartoon. Everything, this face he makes, he's just like...
And his backstory, he's from the mountains of Kentucky, and his
like a little bit Native American.
Yeah.
Someone made up a good point about Brad Pitt, especially after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay, yeah.
And he is a character actor trapped in a leading man's body. Because if you look at his career, and I feel like we might have talked about, I know we talked about this. I forget if we talked about this in the podcast.
Right.
If you look at his career, I would say 80% of all the characters he's played with are all distinguishable characters. They're not, you're watching Brad Pitt, but it's not like Tom Cruise where it's all fucking Tom Cruise no matter what at the end of the day. It's except for that one stupid movie he does where he's in producer makeup.
Oh yeah, Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, except for that. It's just Tom Cruise at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's he needed that to be a character.
Yes.
All Brad Pitt needs is a mustache, a haircut,
a jacket,
different, and he'll you see him in 12 Monkeys, you see him in Fight Club, you see him in this movie, you see him in
even in Ocean's 11, he's kind of charactery,
I would say in that movie he's Brad Pitt classic.
Yeah. Remember him in Thelma and Louise?
You know what? I honestly I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Oh, okay.
I know how it ends, and I know he's in it. But you ever seen California?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's he can play a character.
Sure.
He is definitely an actor. I feel unlike other leading men, he's proven to be someone that can play different things. He was the Vanisher in Deadpool.
Oh
Deadpool
yeah.
He's in for 1 second. It's just his face. It's so stupid.
But they did do that, and wasn't he supposed to have a bigger role?
No. All the characters in X-Force were supposed to have a bigger role. That was the joke.
Yeah. Okay.
That was they played it for laughs, which I thought was awesome. They totally pumped the audience. So then you're introduced to the Bastards, and the next scene is Hitler banging, going 999. He's all pissed off, doing his Hitler thing.
Yes.
Being a lovable,
irascible,
little rascal.
Yeah. Right.
What's not to love? Totally. You see that man, you're like, my God, I could see how you just were able to take over a country.
Yes.
And it's not like we're seeing that again with another another buffoonish character.
Right. Once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime, no one would ever see another weirdo with weird hair who's loud and bombastic.
Right.
Thank God that that ended in World War II.
Yes.
And is not happening today.
Put an end to that.
Put an end. They put a cap on that bottle. The genie, they kept it in the bottle. They didn't. It's not this weird.
Unfortunately, it was a bright red cap on the bottle.
A bright red cap said make America great again.
Yes.
Crap. Well, I guess in 50 years we'll have Inglorious Basterds too.
Right. Well, yeah. Okay. So you meet the Bastards.
Yes.
And I remembered this.
Yeah.
But it's got some great characters in the Bastards.
Well, the funny thing is, there's a lot of them, but really only 5 of them are actual characters. I love that. You ever see the show Freaks and Geeks?
Yes.
He's one of the Bastards,
right?
that guy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, one of the kids. And BJ Novak from The Office is one of the Bastards.
Yep. This is a German actor. I forgot his name. He plays a German turncoat or something turned on the Nazis.
Yep.
And I've seen him in a lot of things. Eli Roth, who is the director.
Yeah.
He plays one of the Bastards.
I read today that Eli Roth directed the propaganda film that they showed in the theater.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, he had a relationship with Quentin Tarantino. I don't know if they still do stuff, but they for that period of time, they were doing a lot of stuff together. He was involved with Death Proof. He's
sense.
in it, And he also filmed like the famous Thanksgiving trailer.
Right.
What was that movie called? I know Death Proof was his movie.
Planet Terror?
Well, Planet Terror is the
other one.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about
the actual movie itself? It's called the two movies.
Oh, Grindhouse.
Yeah, Grindhouse. Yeah. He did the Thanksgiving.
Right, the little trailer.
When they said he was going to be in this movie and he was playing like the menacing guy, at first I was like, I can't picture that. But then he was fine in it.
If I didn't know it was Eli Roth, who I'm not a huge fan of,
right,
it would have been fine. I think it's kind of a one-note character.
Yeah, he's just supposed to be this badass, and he quotes a couple of lines like he's like a guy from Brooklyn,
right?
And he's talking about baseball
he's in Boston,
games,
right? Isn't he? Because he references the Fenway, I think.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he's
he's famous for bashing in the heads of Nazis. Yeah. Well, so that's his whole thing too. Brad Pitt's character is that he wants 100 scalps from each Nazi.
Yeah.
The way he says it.
Each of his bastards got to bring him 100 scalps.
Yeah, and he wants his scalps.
Right.
Yeah. And it's an army of all Jewish people.
Yeah.
Except for Brad Pitt.
Right. Aldo reigns.
Maybe he is Jewish. I don't know. Or remember when he converts now?
Yeah.
That was weird. When they had to do the press. I didn't expect that.
So, but
that was in the cutscene.
Now,
my mind.
And so at the end, I guess we'll go back to the scene. You meet all the bastards, and it's the aftermath of a little skirmish.
Right.
And they have like a handful of German prisoners.
Yep.
A sergeant and
one guy won't turn him in, so the Bear Jew guy, Eli Roth character, beats his head in.
And it's brutal.
Yeah. And then that one guy does turn him in.
Yep. Immediately.
And and then that's the guy who's telling Hitler. You find out that's the guy who tells Hitler. But one thing they do is they let a German go.
Yes.
Brad Pitt's character is like, "What are you gonna do when you leave?"
Yeah.
And the guy's like, I'm gonna burn this uniform."
Right.
It's like, yeah, but I'd rather you wear this uniform for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't let them, so he carves a swastika into their head.
Yeah.
And that's when you see it. He takes the cap off and you see the scar.
Yeah.
Which I'll say, healed pretty good for what must have been the day before.
Right.
Or 2 days before.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is like the 1940s. He had to go from
I'm kidding.
Yeah. So
2 minutes later.
But this scene, I could watch this scene dozens of times because it is exactly like my teenage self, how I would have fought the war. What I was...
Like I said, this movie is definitely... Do not watch this movie for historical reference or preference.
But I would have been we need a ragtag band of plucky misfits that play by their own rules, but all have hearts of gold, and you need to drop them behind enemy lines.
Ignore the fact that World War II was not just fought in Germany, but it was fought on literally of the whole planet.
Right. Africa was involved.
Southeast Asia,
Right.
There's that was a massive war. That's what I love about this movie is that it makes World War II out to be so small.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a claustrophobic little.
It's just everything about it. It's just like a revenge film. It's like I said. In the end of the day, I'm like, is it disrespectful?
Okay, I wanted to talk about.
I like the movie. The movie's awesome. It's one of my favorite movies, but. Okay, might as well just jump the gun.
Yeah.
They do something in the end that I did not expect.
Right.
I didn't know how to react. I thought it was kind of bizarre. So we find out later, which is fine because it is the next scene, I think.
Yeah.
That Shoshana now runs a movie theater.
Yep, she had escaped to France.
So where were they? Weren't they in France? They were now they're in Paris or something, or they were in some city.
Well, yeah, they were
or
in
was she in
Vichy,
Germany?
France. No, that was in Paris because she escaped the countryside.
You would think she would have gotten the fuck out of Europe altogether.
Maybe she couldn't. I mean, it was pretty locked down.
Right, but what's amazing about that though, this is to me. I was talking about my wife.
Yeah, my wife.
Yeah, and she watched. Well, she didn't rewatch, but she remembers. And I was telling her, I found, and it's so stupid because the movie's not realistic in any way whatsoever. But the most unrealistic scene was that within this 3-year period, where she's the only surviving member of her family, escaping for her life, trying to be in hiding, she opens up a movie theater in the middle of the city.
In Paris, yeah.
In Paris. Has a huge film collection.
Mm-hmm.
And still goes by Shoshana.
Yes.
Didn't dye her hair or do anything.
No.
Like, the Germans had a list. He had a list, Hans.
They were famous for their lists.
Yeah.
They were. That's kind of their thing.
But Hans had a list of specific Jewish families to go after and go after people that would be hiding them. And I know he lets her go, but I mean, you're telling me in that 3-year period that they never would be like...
buy a movie theater? Yeah.
I know, and again, this is stupid to even bring this up because what happens in the ending is so ridiculous, but that's like the one part where I'm like, all right, I'm just going to have to ignore this.
Yeah, well,
sure, she got a movie theater. Why not? And she has an extensive knowledge of cinema, and she's got a huge movie collection, and...
So much had happened in the film that was a little unrealistic. Like,
nothing's realistic in that movie.
Well, like the whole, okay, so the bastards find out Stiglitz killed a bunch of Nazis, and they want to bust him out of jail. They're a big fan of his work. It's such a great scene.
Yeah.
Where Brad Pitt's like, we think you got potential. You know? And they just kind of break into a high security, just a couple, and they get him in. And like that should be the plot of a whole movie. Like breaking into the prison to get him. But it just happens. Yeah. So I agree. You just got to let it ride. But it is kind of, it's remarkable in a way.
Well, what's funny about this movie, and it almost works like Reservoir Dogs. So Reservoir Dogs, which I would do a whole episode on that alone.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Like, just like the Bastards, Reservoir Dogs, there's only one scene where they're all together, and then the next scene is the bank heist failed,
right?
And half of them are already dead. Yeah, and the other one's on the run hiding, and you don't ever see it's that famous image of them while walking. I had the poster hanging on my wall in college.
Right. I had a t-shirt.
The famous image of Harvey Keitel pointing the gun. Yep. The famous dance scene when he cuts the cop's ear off.
Yeah, stuck in the middle with you.
Yeah, but just like I find that in Inglorious Basterds, you don't that one scene when they're all together. That's it. Yeah. Because half of them die in the basement. Right. And the other half, then that's it. And then there's just a handful of them left when they go to the movie theater. Right. And so it's funny how it follows that and how things quickly fall apart. You're introduced to these characters. So the other scene, and you're introduced to a British guy. Yes. And you see Mike Myers' famous scene, which was weird. I don't know. And then Winston Churchill's standing on the corner.
There's some
and you're introduced to I have to say this is probably one of his first movies. What's the guy's name who plays Magneto in the new ones?
Fassbender?
Yeah. Yes. He's like some... And it's so funny too because it's I remember reading interviews with Quentin Tarantino cinema is the thing that defeats the Nazis in the end. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not even kidding. Because the guy's Fassbender's playing a cinema nerd or something. Yeah. And it's in the movie theater and they really play up Goebbels a lot, but I guess he was...
he was the...
I guess he was considered as number 2?
Yeah, I don't know. Himmler and Goebbels were both in this.
Worst names ever. Himmler and Goebbels. It makes me always think of Gerber Baby.
It always makes me think
Goebbels Baby.
The Tribbles.
The Tribbles.
In Star Trek.
Yeah. Except it's a bunch of Goebbels. Yeah, Trouble with Goebbels. Yeah. They changed the name. They're that's not going to fly.
Well, you had said, just a couple minutes ago, you had said, you wondered
Stephen Miller.
If it was disrespectful or...
I find it okay, so I find it disrespectful because it's you're watching it, and as you're watching the movie, it takes a very long time to get to that point. You realize, okay, this is a Quentin Tarantino movie. Sure. This isn't, played seriously. This is, it's just playing exactly how Tarantino movies are... Not exactly, but I mean, it fits the formula. Right. But it's fulfills a fantasy that it almost feels does it trivialize? Does it give a false pacification? Because a lot of these Nazis, they weren't gunned down in a movie theater. Right. Hitler's face wasn't shot to hell. No. Supposedly killed himself in a bunker. There's other people who think he moved to Brazil. Who the hell knows? There's a lot of different theories.
I was talking to my dad about this, and I was like, look, I'm not 100% comfortable with fictionalizing this. You know what I mean? Once you turn Hitler and Goebbels and Himmler into fictional characters, you're almost like trivializing what really happened. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I was like, I don't.
Well, that's what I said. Like, I remember. You remember the show West Wing?
Oh yeah.
And like, there's been other shows like that. What's that called? Damages or whatever.
I don't know that one, but yeah.
I don't know. There's several shows like this. It's these like they get into politics. I remember people were like, "Oh, you should," like, because they knew I was like into politics.
Right.
It's like you should watch these shows. And I was like, "Oh, like what's the one with lovable Kevin Spacey?"
Yeah, the real famous one.
West?
Shoot, what is that called?
Rufy.
That's the Bill Cosby
one.
Yeah.
Basement Surprise.
House of Cards.
House of Cards.
Yeah,
oh, sorry, not Basement Surprise. Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey's Basement Surprise.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, House of Cards. Like, these are shows, like, I never could get into them. Because I don't like politics being completely, like, a fantasy. It's like West Wing was, like, big when, like, I think
Clinton,
George...
right?
Well, Clinton and Bush.
Yeah.
It was big. It was still around. And, like, it was like this liberal president. And I'm like, that's not what's happening right now. We don't have this Martin Short as president. We got fucking shitty George W. Bush as president. Like, and I just think it's like it's like a full. It's like a pacification. It's like I'm not. I think I'm not saying that that's exactly how Inglorious Basterds is, but it's just like I don't like fictional politics that borrow too much from modern day politics. Like, I don't mind if it's like a fantasy world that uses like politics and as like tropes and stuff, but when you're like the president of the United States and it's like, or like said the House of Cards, I can't get into it. I just like I'm like
the stakes are too real. Like, maybe if we weren't living in a world where you literally did have Nazi sympathizers in government, you know, or
which is actually true. Yeah, it's been exposed recently.
Or a president who says there's good people on both sides.
Do you know what they said recently?
No.
This is a new one. He wants to. They want to remove birthright citizenship from military.
Military. Yeah.
Why would the military support?
Yeah.
Like, that should be like the number one thing. If you're in the military and you're giving your life to the country and everything, and you do have a family or kid,
maybe
it's almost like a gift. Some people say that, like, this is, again, because Trump is a very...
He married an immigrant.
But it's not even that, but, like, it's almost like a revenge on, like, John McCain. Because John McCain was not born
He was born on the Panama Canal,
Right, inside the Panama Canal.
Right, actually,
he was Aquaman.
He was the final link in the two sides of the bridge.
Yeah, he was holding it together.
Right.
And then they... Yeah.
Well, okay.
But, I mean, like, they think that that's, like, his little, like, revenge, like... And I'm like, no, they're just shitty. They're just shitty people. Well, that's it. It's like that. Only a shitbag does that. Like, there's no, and I can't wait. I know the right wing and everything, they got to come up with like some historical bullshit that they're already pulling something out. Well, it's like when he says he wants to buy Greenland, like they come up with some bullshit for that. They're like, well, actually, that's not a bad idea. We've talked about buying him back, and it's like, shut the fuck up. The guy's an idiot.
Well, so is this disrespect? I don't know. I'm like a little on the fence about this. I love the movie. I love the scene where they're just like beating the hell out of Nazis with baseball bats.
I don't mind that. I'm fine with that. I don't mind like if the movie had Hans as the main villain,
right?
And let's say you want to have Goebbels in there. Fine,
sure,
whatever.
Yeah, because he's a face. Like, I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. Goebbels,
right? And if you want to have him more involved, which he is more involved, Hitler's kind of shows up.
Yeah.
But, like, it's like this revenge film fantasy when, like, in the end of the theater, when everything's on fire, and you see Eli Roth's character shooting him in the face, so, like, which was awesome looking, and I didn't see that coming. I was like, holy shit. But it was just, like, it felt too easy, and it's like, that's not what happened. And
it isn't what happened.
And if that did happen, my God, the world would be, like, so different. Like, if, like, the Nazis were taken out like that... not even like something that ridiculous.
Right.
But like all Nazis were taken out like that. The way we do politics would be different. Society would be different.
Yeah.
Like the world would people would be different to each other. They'd be like, you don't want to be Hitler and get shot in the face 1,000 times and blow up in a movie theater in France, do you?
Well,
like there'd be like people who would be like questioning how they would how they would measure their words more. They'd be like, they would.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah,
that doesn't happen to the command, the leaders. They usually get to escape on an island, or they get to become.
They drown off the coast of Brazil or something.
Yeah, like they get to they don't get slaughtered.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about everyone. I'm not even talking about Nazis. I'm talking about
everyone there got gunned down. It was a.
But I'm talking about in history, just like any type of horrible person.
Right. Well, I think. It is weird. I have a problem with it. I don't have a huge... Maybe I just haven't thought about it long and hard enough. But it does seem problematic to turn them into fictional villains because they're very real villains. And that is something... I might feel better.
The problem is they have been fictionalized. He's not the first one to do it.
Yeah, I mean...
Hitler has been in things.
Hitler's been in Captain America.
He's one of the...
He's in the Preacher show. He's
well, that's a ridiculous show.
Yeah, but
he's dead and he's in hell, and it's kind of funny what they do to him. I don't mind that. Because I know that show is complete fiction.
Right.
And he's dead and he's from hell. So at this point. So that's... But this is
quasi-real,
quasi-historical.
Yeah.
And I'm just really upset they did that to Hitler. No, I'm just saying,
he's a good guy.
Yeah, give him a chance.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to say. Well, I just find it is that offensive to all the people who died in World War II?
Yeah.
Everyone died in concentration camps, everyone who died in the country of Germany, everyone who died in the United States, everyone who fought in that war. Is it kind of like you said, trivializes, fantasy, fantastical,
right?
You said,
my grandfather's not here anymore. He passed away a while ago, but he left he left Eastern Europe before World War II because of World War II. And got out of there and he came to America.
Did he bring his extensive collection of Nazi memorabilia?
He did not.
Okay. He left. I think I will leave this home.
Hey,
why do I sound like this?
But we changed our last name. My last name really isn't.
Was it Hitler?
No, it's Kashatsky or something. It's our real last name, and I think they took Danny Kaye, the entertainer, Kaye's last name, and they assimilated in.
So I just figured when Shotsky came here and he said, "What's your name, Shotsky?" and the guy went, "K."
Yeah,
and they're like, "Yeah, all right, sounds good to me." And he's like, "No, I was just going K."
Yeah. So, but I wonder, if my grandfather had seen this movie, what his opinion would have been. I
thought it was insane. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And that ending doesn't have... you don't see anything like that. There's shootouts and...
Yeah.
Like I said, there's been fictionalized World War II elements. There's been fictionalized battles. There's been...
Sure.
But the one thing that you never really see in the movies is Hitler.
Right.
Even in Indiana Jones 3, you see Hitler for a second.
Yeah.
He shakes hands. He gets a book signed by him. It was at a book burning
party.
Right. And then Hitler signs a book, gives it to him. Little known fact. The guy who played Hitler in Indiana Jones 3 is the guy who gets choked by Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, really?
The one who's
oh,
excuse me, Darth. I love that recurring joke through Empire Strikes Back where Darth Vader kills two...
Yeah.
He kills 2 of them, and then he's like... Don't disappoint me to the last one. That guy's like,
oh fuck.
Yeah. That was a great recurring little storyline going through them. But you don't ever have Hitler. You don't ever have the high command in these movies. Not really. You don't. Not to the point where they are engaged in battle. World War II was so big and so vast that you can do these little imaginary stories where people go on side missions and. Invasion of a town in Italy or, whatever. And you can do all these type of things. But the one thing Quentin Tarantino does, he goes, I'm going to get all the Nazis into a movie theater.
In Paris.
And blow it the fuck up.
And it's so, forgive the expression, it's so cinematic. The Shoshana projects herself
that's
onto
amazing.
The screen.
Okay, so... To go back, that's one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
And the part of I love it. Each part has a name. That one's called the Revenge of the Big Head.
Yeah, it's
something like that. It's crazy. And then when you see that title, you're you're never gonna think later on oh yeah, Hitler gets shot in the face a bunch of times. You don't ever see that coming. You're just that's a weird name. I get that. So Shoshana gets. Well, she's like there's this German guy played by I forgot his name, but he was in Civil War, the movie, the Marvel Civil War. That's probably his most famous American movie. He's a German actor. He's been in a bunch of things. Inglorious Basterds definitely was like one of his first big ones.
Okay.
He plays Zemo in Civil War.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to be back in the Falcon.
The Disney Plus
Bucky,
one?
Yeah, series.
Okay, yeah.
And supposedly he's actually going to wear the outfit that makes him look more like Baron Zemo.
Oh, okay.
So
cool,
I guess. Yeah, sure. Like people cut. He's going to wear the sock.
Yeah.
That's what they call his mask, the purple.
Right, yeah.
So he's like this German hero. Like he's like some guy who supposedly killed a bunch of people in Italy or something like that. Like 300 soldiers. I don't know. He was like singing top, and Goebbels like, he's a good-looking guy. And Goebbels wants to make him into a propaganda video to get the Germans excited because the war. They are losing the war. It was 1944, I think. Yeah,
and you get. I mean, later on too, the. I mean, even after, aside from what happened in the movie theater, the Christopher Waltz character is like, Germany's done. I mean, you get the sense that he had plans to kind of bolt. Yeah.
So he wants to use him to make a propaganda. He basically made a propaganda film of him just killing people.
Yeah.
And he's kind of hitting on her.
Right.
And not knowing who she is. And then I guess she doesn't know who he is either. She thinks he's this German soldier. And we find out he's this like actually very important German soldier, and he's introduces him to Goebbels.
Yeah.
At a lunch or something, and she's invited, and she's kind of this like, oh, yeah, and we're gonna they were gonna do the big screening there, but because he likes her, he convinces Goebbels to do it at her theater.
Yeah, right.
And
it's a little Deus Ex Machina, but it works.
That lady, that's Goebbels' like girlfriend, even though he shows him fucking her, which is like gross to see in the movie.
Yeah.
She's from Kill Bill. She's the one who gets like her arms cut off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when she gets the idea of like, she tells her boyfriend that works in the theater with her. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't either.
But they plot basically, which is funny because it's like you got the bastards, but then you got her.
Right.
And the bastards have a plan too.
It seems like two separate movies.
It is colliding. There's two different plots. Bastards are going to meet. There's a German actress who's kind of playing like a Margot. What's that character? That actress name from Germany?
Oh yeah,
she just passed away. Or whatever.
Marlene Dietrich.
Yeah.
You do. You see these plots colliding.
Yeah. So they have a plot with the Michael Fassbender character. They're gonna meet this actress who's really working for them, and they're gonna plot to. I guess they're made aware of the movie screening too.
Right.
And so while Shoshana is doing her plot, you find out she has this film that burns very easily.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's funny. That's like a quick little Samuel Jackson. He narrates what kind of film it is, like the nitrate, how it like lights up 4 times quicker than paper.
Right. And it's supposed to be very flammable.
And they show like a little movie clip, like a educational film where the guy's like, "You can't go on the bus with this." Like this is illegal, or something. Yeah, I thought that was great. And then so that's going on, and then the bastards meet her in a basement, and like Brad Pitt's like, this is a bad idea.
Right.
You don't want to meet in a basement.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
Right. There's no exits, and
like to go down and shoot people, and like it's.
Yeah.
So she's down there with a bunch of like German cadets or whatever the hell they are, Nazi like privates, and already it's fucked up. Like she should not have picked that place. She should have picked a place where no one would be there.
Right. You get the feeling things are starting to fall apart.
It's already bad from the get go.
Yeah.
The fact that, and they're even like, "Why did you pick this place?" Like, and she's like, "Oh, it's fine. It's just a bunch of kids. Who cares or whatever." The guy's they're celebrating having a kid. They're drunk. The guy is annoying. He won't leave them alone. And then like. Michael Fassbender's character tells him like in German, but like he's like an actor, but he's like he doesn't really have like a proper German accent, I guess. And the guy's like, "What part of Germany are you from?" Which was kind of funny. And then unfortunately, a high Nazi command guy just happens to be in the bar, like in the corner drinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he wants to play the game, and that's when it turns into a Tarantino movie.
It does.
Talking for a long time, exchange dialogues, and you're introduced. I didn't realize it till later. You're introduced to him. That guy actually was like Goebbels was like second in command or something.
Okay.
In the diner, the restaurant scene with Shoshana.
Oh.
So he actually wasn't like some. I didn't realize that.
He wasn't just like some random.
Right. I rewatched it when I rewatched it because I think I saw it in the theater. I think I might have saw it one time on like TV, and maybe I wasn't paying attention. But then I watched it again, so we could talk about it.
Yeah.
Just to like pay more attention to it, and I noticed that he is introduced earlier, so he wasn't just some German high command officer. He was actually part of.
I'll bet you I've seen this 4 or 5 times. I saw it in the theater. I watched it Friday night. With a lot of Quentin Tarantino movies, I'm guilty of watching like a chapter of it and then just being done. Like I've probably seen the early Brad Pitt scene in the forest. Probably seen that 20 times.
Oh, that's a great scene.
Some of the middle scenes with Shoshana doing her thing. Yeah, I probably haven't watched them nearly as much. They're just not as interesting to me.
So that scene like plays out, and basically the guy's like doesn't give a shit. Mm-hmm. He has a gun pointed at the guy, like Michael Fassbender character was. He has a gun pointed at his crotch, and then he has a gun pointed at him, and the other guy, the German guy's got a gun pointed at him, and the actress is like, and then there's a shootout, everybody dies except for the one guy who had the kid, and the actress got shot in the leg. So the whole bar's dead. And then you just see Brad Pitt like talking from a distance. Yeah. And he's like, listen, I'm just gonna throw a grenade down here and kill you. Or you could give up, go see your kid or whatever, and I don't know. It's interesting. And then
it's a classic Tarantino scene though.
But I like the way it sounds, like when you hear Brad Pitt talking. Yeah. And he's not in the room. Right. It's almost like you're in a movie. It's like you said, it is very theater-like. Where you would just have some guy on the side of the theater. Yeah. Off the stage. And he'd be talking. You would hear his voice, but he's not there. Yeah. So it is very much like a play.
I get the feeling that's Tarantino's shtick.
I just can't wait for the Inglorious Basterds play.
Right. Well, I'm really surprised they haven't done, look, Reservoir Dogs could be
Reservoir Dogs. We're just a bunch of Reservoir Dogs.
When you're a dog, you're a... no, there's only like two or three scenes in Reservoir Dogs. It's the warehouse, the diner, and a car.
It was a low-budget movie. Though.
Yeah, but like...
Don't forget the roof houses.
Oh, yeah. But there's like a couple movies of his that you could probably make into a play pretty easily. I bet you could make Inglorious Basterds a play.
It's solid set pieces.
Yeah.
And so then she shoots, and then the next scene's revealed. Like she's the one who kills that German guy who gave up. She's like, "Fuck you." Right. She had a gun. She shot him like a bunch of times, and they're at like a vet because they had to find somebody. She's like gonna lose her leg or whatever, and like so everything's already fucked up as is because they're gonna go to the movie theater, and she has to explain how she has a limp.
Yeah,
and I thought that was like a great scene. I forgot her name. She's from the one who played Diane Kruger.
Oh yeah,
the one who plays Bridget Vaughn. She's from those horrible National Treasure movies. With Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, she's been in a couple different things.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of things, but she's from... Nicolas that's what I knew her from.
Right.
Before. Those movies are terrible.
Yeah, I look, they are bad movies, but I kind of like them. I like Nicolas Cage.
Wrong with you. Yeah. Those movies are horrible. They're like, how do you make Indiana... Talk about trivializing hit. Jeez.
Yeah.
So... yeah, everything's all fucked up. They have to go to the movie theater. Half the bastards are dead now, too. Yes. And
that's another hallmark of Tarantino's films. His characters drop like flies.
Like I said, Reservoir Dogs. Yeah. You only see the dogs in the beginning walking. Yep. And the movie's called Reservoir Dogs, and then
Pulp Fiction,
half of them are freaking dead, and they're right in the next scene.
Yeah.
You get the famous scene where Mr. Pink, where they're going over the names, and the guy's giving all the names, like, "Why are you Mr. Pink?"
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
I got a Mr. Purple and another caper.
Yeah. Why am I Mr. Brown? I'm a piece of shit. That's Quentin Tarantino in the movie.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I don't know. Like, they're at the movie theater now. Everything's converging.
Yeah. Well, you're right. The all the elements of the movie that you'd kind of kept up with start to.
And the funny thing is, Shoshana never. She's got her own struggles. She never actually meets up with the bastards.
No.
They're on their mission. She's on her mission, her own personal mission, and they don't know each other's existence.
Nope.
As far as you know, it's just a movie theater. They're not even worried about who owns it, and
yeah,
she doesn't even know they exist.
It is. It's kind of a nice thing because I think probably during a war or a situation like that, there's probably all sorts of shit that's converging, and you don't know why they're running from that building, but they are, and you shoot them, and maybe you never see why they were running from that building, but it's cool. It's a very nice thing, you know. You fit a lot of plot development into one film, and it works. It works that way. Huh.
So. The bastards, they don't know any German, or they pretend to be Italian. They don't know any Italian, of course, and arrivederci.
Yeah,
right. And that's when Hans shows up.
Yeah.
Well, Hans, you did see Hans earlier when he showed up at the restaurant, and he's talking to Shoshana, and you're wondering, did he know that was her?
I got the strong feeling he suspected something.
And then when she leaves, she's like, gas. She's
right.
I thought that was a great scene.
Yeah.
So then he's back, but I don't think Shoshana sees him because she's too busy upstairs doing her thing.
Right.
And I like her dress she's wearing. It's all
elaborate. Yeah.
And but she's wearing a veil.
Mm-hmm.
So it's was a sign of death or something.
Yeah,
a black veil.
Right.
She
the
intends
angel
on
of death or
she
something.
intends on killing all of them.
Yeah.
And so then the bastards are there with the actress, and Hans introduces himself. And he, of course, is doing his job as a inspector or whatever.
Right.
And so he's obviously on to them because he's he knows Italian. That's the best part. She's she figured, she told him, speak a language that no one's going to know.
Yeah.
And of course he knows perfect Italian.
Yeah.
And he knows all the regions. And
things are further slipping out of hand here. Yeah.
And he lets them go. And then, let me see if I can figure. So, Eli Roth and the other character, they're kind of pretend to be waiters.
Yeah.
And they go off on their own thing. And Brad Pitt and the guy from The Office.
Yep, BJ Novak.
Are playing they're supposed to be filming.
Yeah.
It
turns into a caper.
Yeah, they're filming a documentary or something, supposedly. That's the thing.
Right.
They're Italian film. And then obviously Hans knows what's up or something, and they're tie and gag him. And then the next scene, you see him basically interrogating Brad Pitt's character.
Yeah.
And that's when he tells him, I'm going to give it all up.
Yeah. It was very unexpected to me. Yeah, because the villain is basically surrendering to the hero when the hero is at its least powerful.
Yeah, he could have killed him right there.
Right.
He could have, Brad Pitt's just whoa, I expect him to be dead right here. I didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. And the guy's he has it all, clearly he was planning this. It all planned out where he wanted to live. He expected a pension, a military pension. He expected to be he had all these demands, but basically in his head, he was listen, I'm ending the war. I'm a fucking hero. Well, in his mind, he's I'm ending World War II.
Before Brad Pitt pulls his trump card at the end, Brad Pitt even is saying, look, this makes perfect sense for everyone. You end the war. And he says to BJ, no, would you take this deal? And BJ's I'd take this deal, That's not where they leave it, but...
Well, it's amazing because it's incredibly stupid on Hans Gruber. I keep Hans Linder's part. At the same time, it just shows his arrogance, though.
Right.
That he is this, smart person and everything, but letting Shoshana go, doing this, it's almost kind of dumb. He could have killed them and then still got the information.
Yes.
He could have gotten the information from the military.
Mm-hmm.
Gave up Hitler and all of them.
Yeah.
Told them what to do. And he could have shot Brad Pitt and the other guy after. And he could have just been I don't know what happened.
There's a lot of ways you can surrender and stuff. Yeah. But you're right. he seemed to. It was weird. 'Cause the Hans character never felt in peril. I think, you know what I mean. Like, he never felt like shit was going to get real for him, and everyone else was kind of like under that thumb. You know, like we could die. We could, you know, you saw Shoshana's big deep breath after she like dodged being identified by him, and everyone was kind of living on the run. And he was just happy as a clam the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, it's no
He's
big
like,
deal. It's like,
live on was it Martha's Vineyard or something like that?
Like, I gunned down a family in a farmhouse. You know,
that was 3 years ago.
Well,
can a man be forgiven?
But he did all these horrible things.
Yeah, of course.
Casually, flippantly.
Yeah. Like you said, he
no
treated people like it was a cock. So if one got away.
Exactly. There were widgets.
Yeah.
Like, and all of that, I've got a list. I got to kill these people.
Yep.
Hey, nope. Nothing personal.
I had 20 people quota a day. We met that quota.
Got to kill these people.
I'll get to it later.
Right. And so when he killed the family and he got rid of the farmhouse, check. Someone got away. He's just like,
who? Did you see anybody? I didn't see anybody.
Quitting time, you know?
Yeah.
And
we didn't see anybody, right? Let's go get some lunch.
Right. In a lot of ways, that's even worse than like if he had tracked her down, because then you could say, well, like, look, he really believes that.
No, he doesn't. He does. Well, I'm sure he's. Oh no, I'm sure he.
He doesn't even think.
If he had if he was like a game, what do you call it, like a video game? People that talk.
The Twitch
guy, like, he'd probably slip a couple times and say some offensive things if he, you know.
Hans D. Pie.
Hans D. Pie. Well, did I say that? Just kidding.
Yeah. Damn Ambien. Well,
so then we go
ahead.
back to Shoshana with that guy who's like obsessed with her.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're playing the movie for everybody now.
Right.
Hitler's there, and Goebbels was like so happy when Hitler like told him,
so
like,
happy.
It's nice to see a person succeed.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Who would begrudge him his happiness?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it was an honor. So they're watching the movie, and the movie's like ridiculous. It's just the guy shooting and killing people.
Yes.
Which, it's like, you know, it's like the Passion of the Christ. You know, it's just like, you know, sometimes that's all you gotta do. You just have to have the guy constantly
know your audience.
Know your audience. Know who you're aiming at.
Give them what they want.
Give them what they want. Just some guy shooting, some guy getting whipped for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Paint your enemy. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
So, and what's fucked up is, so then he comes in and he's demanding her, like, he wants to like have sex with her, or he's he just demands like her affection, and she's like, no, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But then she realizes, oh shit, I should get in here.
Right.
And she shoots him.
Yeah.
A bunch of times. But which is fucked up. This is where she fucks up. She's watching the movie. He's laying. She thinks he's dead.
Right.
And she watches the movie, and they close up on him, and it's like he's like, even though he's killing people, it's like his eyes.
Yeah.
Like you feel for his passion, or like this sympathy. For some reason, she sees sympathy in him. You know, he's this handsome guy, and it's so funny. It's like she's falling for it or something.
Yeah.
And then so she goes to check. It's like how much she feels bad what she did, even though he's a horrible monster.
Oh yeah.
It's like he's a piece of garbage. Like he's killed tons of people, and he'll kill more people given the chance.
Right.
And so she like goes to check on him, and then of course he kills her.
Yeah.
Like what she should have done was just shot him like 3 more times. Right. And then, of course, I guess he's dead too. So she's dead. But the guy, her boyfriend, who worked in the theater, he knew to light the match. The film changes all of a sudden.
Right.
To
the big head.
The big hair talking. But she's speaking English, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine. I don't know. Who cares? It makes no sense, but that's fine. And she's like, you're like, well, I don't remember this part in the movie.
Right.
Goebbels like, this... I don't remember this part of this lady. I'm pretty sure
the director's cut.
Yeah, that's I heard, but that's the Josh Trank version of Fantastic Four that no one got to see. It's the famous Schneider cut of Justice League that everybody clamors for.
The Schneider cut.
Release the Schneider cut. I'm just kidding. Don't. No. So, and that's when the fire starts. Yeah. And everybody freaks out, and then. Like I said, she was just going to start firing. She had like all the doors padlocked, I guess. But she wasn't aware that there was these two feisty Inglorious Bastards in there,
right.
and they were on a suicide mission. They had bombs strapped to their legs. They knew they weren't good. They had no intention of living. Like,
no.
And they had, I love the guns on their hand. They had these like weird handgun, wrist guns.
And they had
did that exist? I guess it did. I probably did.
Sure,
why not?
But they had like a bunch of clips. They kept reloading their machine guns,
and they would they snuck in and they went to town. They found Hitler's booth.
Right. Yes. Right.
Which I guess
he had a booth.
They only had one guard guarding it. That's all you need.
Right.
And then they kill everybody, and then the fire, and then you see her. It's like she's dead, right? But she's not dead. It's like her head lives on. She's like a Wizard of Oz type.
Yeah.
Her head is floating in the smoke. It is amazing. And I'm wondering, like, that has to be CGI. I don't know. I'm wondering, can you make that effect? I imagine you can.
That's a good question.
Project.
I don't know.
I'm sure you can project in smoke.
Yeah.
An image.
I don't know if
show, but not as perfect like that.
I don't know. That is a good question. My guess would be that they CGI'd it, but it looks real good.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, and like she's like this all-powerful god, revenge. She's like the Ark.
Yeah.
Or
Zardoz.
I was gonna say Return of the Jedi, but I meant to say Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, it's funny because there was a lot going on there, and I don't know if I believe this all, but the power of cinema. I don't know if I believe that Quentin Tarantino is making a statement on the power of cinema, but there's a lot there. Like the Shoshana was kind of lulled into not acting by the cinema. Cinema transformed that monster into this beautiful Norse figure. When she was watching the movie of him,
the power, right.
Yeah.
He was this person that she wanted nothing to do with, and he was she killed him, but then cinema, captured him in a perfect moment, and she felt some sympathy, even though,
he didn't deserve any.
Yeah. How effective it can be.
Yeah.
So there's some theories to, again, how it is all the same universe, and that this does fit into the Quentin Tarantino universe, that World War II would be known in history that specific people killed the Nazis, and that the Nazis were basically defeated in a movie theater, and that's why people are obsessed with movies and film in his universe. That's why people talk the way they do, and the way they reference things. There's it's almost like it's on a different level, on an average cultural level. There's people here, but not on an everyday thing.
Well,
but, they would be treated differently.
I believe it. Look, I think, and I'm not claiming this is any new original thought. I think that most great artists, and I'll put Quentin Tarantino as a great artist, I think most great artists are trying to solve a problem or answer a question, and all of their work is basically like a reiteration or a reframing of their thesis.
Right.
Cormac McCarthy, the guy who wrote The Road, and the Border Trilogy and all that. He's trying to solve a problem, and all his books are kind of the same, kind of different. But Quentin Tarantino is trying to solve a problem, and it's his problem is American culture and cinema and all that. And so I don't think it's surprising that all of his films have that thematic link, because he's trying to solve a problem.
Well, he's a movie nerd.
He's a
VHS
clerk.
The character from True Romance is supposed to be like him.
Yeah, I can see that. Right.
Technically, it's like him, except his character goes on a crime adventure, and he goes into Hollywood and makes movies.
Right.
He goes on a different adventure, but they start out in the VHS store, and they both go.
Yeah, that's funny.
And so now they're dead.
Yep.
And it ends with happy-go-lucky Hans and his Nazi buddy.
Oh, well, and he looks like he just won the lottery. Yeah. He's so happy. Right. And he's being escorted by B.J. Novak and Brad Pitt's Aldo Raines.
Right. And he gives him a gun, and he's like...
Yeah.
And he's so, happy. He's like, I surrender. Hee-hee.
Right,
we're buddies now, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
We're pals.
He thought that. Brad Pitt's I gotta handcuff you, and the guy's like, I don't see why it's necessary, but hey, and
gotta play our roles here.
Right. And he gives the gun to Aldo Raines.
Yeah, I love it. The first thing they do is they shoot that guy
immediately.
And he was
he was supposed to
That was
Yeah.
like the deal. Like that guy worked with me, so he would live. And,
Well, that's the first moment you see Christopher Waltz in peril.
Yeah.
Like where he like, hey, shit, this isn't how it's supposed to.
right.
This
I
isn't
mean,
wrong.
it just shows. It just goes to show how fucked up he was because he, like you said, his character faces no peril.
No.
He's in a position. He's not on the front line.
No stakes.
He's just a guy who goes and like hunts people at their weakest moments.
Yep. People
People in hiding.
on the run.
Yep.
Literally hiding.
Harmless
for their
people.
life. Yes.
And he's in the position of power, and he's not on the front. As far as we know, he's not ever on the front line.
No.
He's not engaging in battles. He's not,
His uniform was never dirty.
No.
Yeah, he never got. Yeah,
he's a fancy Nazi.
he is.
And within the Nazis, they would say that they'd be like, "Yeah, he's a fancy Nazi."
Well, but you see, and it's very gratifying for me as an audience member to see the tables so quickly turn, and you can see there's a word for it, and I forget the name of the word.
A switcheroo.
Yeah, there's a fancy word for it. Just like he's a fancy
Flip the
Nazi.
script.
There's a fancy word. It's probably German, but where the character stumbles across new information, and immediately his or her whole worldview is shifted, and
Anagnorisis.
Yeah.
Anagnorisis. Sure. Anagnorisis.
right. It basically means
Doc, I got anagnorisis. You're dead.
taking
So.
aspirin every day. It's the character has a reversal of fortunes, and he realizes something that had eluded him before, even though it was in broad daylight.
I mean, I knew, obviously, even at the audience, there was no fucking way Brad Pitt was going to let him go or let him...
Right.
There was no fucking way. I mean, unless the story changed and he kills Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's character from the get-go,
Right.
That would be crazy. That would be poor writing. That character...
Well, Brad Pitt told you exactly his worldview at the beginning of the movie.
Kill fucking Nazis. They're horrible.
I don't like it when Nazis take off the... Yeah, I came here to chew gum and kill Nazis.
Yes. That famous line where he says,
Right.
I came here to chew gum.
I am all out of gum.
Yeah.
And so all that's left for me is killing Nazis.
Yeah.
And I hate it when Nazis get away.
Right, yeah, his whole thing, that was a big thing too, was he's not going to let people who committed horrible acts to, like, now the war's over, we get to go live our lives, go back to our village,
Right.
go back to our lives, go back to our wives and kids.
Yeah.
No, you don't get to.
Right.
You committed the worst human crime, and we can't and if we allow you to do this, this will happen again.
Yes. Yeah.
This will happen if you get to go home. You did not learn, and society will not learn.
Yeah. You basically had four big crimes against you. You had the Spanish Inquisition. You had the African slave trade. You probably had the Native American genocide, and then you had the
100
Holocaust.
100 years of genocide.
Yeah. So you had those four.
There's been many more. There's been other
Yeah.
Holocausts. There's people. So do you remember? This was fucked up, and this this was like the first sign that the Trump administration were full of white nationalists and Nazis, and it was in his first year. And sorry, audience, if you're listening to this, Trump's a Nazi.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe not in a. I love when people are like, yeah, he's from 1940s. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, that's yeah.
No. Okay,
No.
So yeah.
No, he's a modern day echo of
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is following a handbook. He's following the book, the cookbook, the recipe.
Yeah.
Yes. Is he a goose-stepping Nazi from the 40s?
No.
No. But he would be.
Right.
Given the chance.
Another time, yeah.
So, first real red flag they gave, besides the fact that he started out his campaign by saying Mexicans are all rapists.
Yeah, that was a tell.
Yeah, that was a pretty big tell right there. That should have ended right there.
Yes.
It was National Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Oh, I remember
and
this.
They
Yeah.
refused to. They just said everyone. They didn't say Jewish people. And at first I was like,
Yeah.
yes, there's been other Holocausts,
Right.
but that specific day, That's specific to the Holocaust in World War II.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it wasn't just Jewish people.
There was an Armenian Holocaust. There was
not Holocaust, but that genocide. Was the first big tell there, where it was like, why would you
did
not?
Stuff in the campaign too.
But that wasn't even him. That was like Steve Miller, and Steve Bannon was still part of Lovable.
Yeah,
Steve Bannon,
the human gin blossom.
Yeah, the human gin blossom. Grown-up Cartman.
Yeah.
Grown-up Eric Cartman. So, the best scene in the movie is when he tells him, like, you know, you think you're going to... What are you going to do with that uniform? What are you going to do with this? And he has his knife and...
And you're talking about the very end scene, not the one from the beginning.
No, this is the... So, when you see him carve the head in the beginning...
Yes.
He's pretty gentle.
Right.
Even though, not really.
No, but yes.
But this scene is so... Like, if you thought
it's
Hitler...
excruciating.
When you see Hitler get shot in the face, it's comical. Almost.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt like it was kind of ridiculous. And
I agree.
Almost slightly offensive. And I don't mean like in a... just historically offensive.
Yeah,
Sorry. It's like... That's what it is.
I have trouble putting it into words, but that's basically how I
sorry, it's like almost like a fallacy in itself.
It trivializes it.
Yeah, exactly. But when he carves Hans's head in the end, and he goes extra fucking deep into his skull.
Well, and you see his eyes, Hans's eyes.
Yeah, he's screaming, but you also see the skin chunk, the thick layer of skin on his forehead, chunking up with the blade. I was like biting my tongue. I was like, oh my God. And that's how the movie ends. When they're like, and he's like, that's your best work yet.
Right. He's like, I think it's my masterpiece. Or something like that.
And it ends like that. And it's such a great ending.
Well, and you don't see, speaking of catharsis, you see the carving. And then the shot goes to Brad Pitt and B.J. Novak.
But looking down at him.
Looking down at him.
With him screaming. And
right. And then it ends.
Yeah.
And that's a great ending.
Yeah.
It is. You don't need to see the whole, aftermath of that or whatever. But it is like that sequence is so great where Waltz finally realizes he's in peril, and it happens so quickly.
Yeah, he thought he was going to go to America and just get to restart his life. He's like, I'm a likable, go-lucky guy. I'll meet a woman and get a house, and everything's going to be great. I'll have a dog, and I'll invite people over. And
right.
And I'll have a new identity, and I'll make money. And
but he won't. Not him personally, because he's got a goddamn swastika carved on his forehead.
Real deal. Right? I like to think he killed him. I don't think he let him live in the end.
I think he let him live, because I think that was... maybe I'm going too
honorable?
deep. No, I think it's like
that's
the stain. Like you would almost...
I mean, it was to the point where literally he was carving... I mean, like, he was going into his skull at that point.
It would...
left damage on him.
It would never go away.
No!
Right? Like, it would never go away. And you've got... And, like, look, his whole... Like you said, fancy, well-mannered...
it's like you said, he's never in peril.
Never.
And that's kind of interesting. I never even thought about that. Like, his character throughout it is just... he's got other guys to do all the bad stuff for him,
and so it's so cathartic when it boom.
It's like almost like he's like LARPing through the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like he is. He's like he's enjoying this. He doesn't have to his conscience will be wiped clean when all said and done because he's not really the one doing anything.
Well, they were the worst of the worst. Like okay, if you're gonna it's kind of a stupid exercise, but if you're gonna look at the Nazis and you're gonna grade them from like evil to super evil, like you can muster up. I don't. Maybe this is the wrong way to put it, but like the Nazis that were conscripted into the army and they fought and whatever, and then you're like, okay, well, they're just terrible people, but like he was so evil. He was calculatedly evil, and he never sacrificed. And he was, I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. But then the film ends. Credits roll, and that's it. You're left with that story, the Inglorious Basterds.
There's a amazing documentary. I'm trying to find it. It's on Netflix. It's about Nuremberg trial and they interviewed the lawyer who's still alive. He's like probably almost like 100. He was like in his mid-20s or when he did he was in charge of he was like one of the main lawyers in Nuremberg.
Huh.
And he was like the little guy.
Did he argue for? Was he a prosecutor?
Yes, he was a Jewish guy.
Right.
It was totally intent. He knew he was kind of being used as we got a Jewish guy doing it,
right.
and they had all these guys on trial, and they basically put him to death.
A lot of them got hanged. Yeah.
Well, the thing was they stood by it. A lot of those guys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there were some people who said they were following orders.
Right.
But then there were some that were just they gotta go. They're never gonna, this is what it's like a cult. I mean, it's called Prosecuting Evil, and it's the last surviving Nuremberg trial prosecutor continues his lifelong crusade. He's I don't know if you saw the Michael Moore documentary, Fahrenheit 11/9.
Yes. Oh.
Not
11. No, I did not see this one.
Okay, that's the one about Trump.
Yes, I saw 9/11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the one about Trump is really good because he makes comparisons to Nazis, and he interviews that guy with
the Nuremberg attorney.
Yeah, I highly recommend you watch the Michael Moore one and then watch this one.
Okay.
Because the guy talks about what they're doing to Latino people and the camps.
Yeah.
And this was last year, so we're not even getting to the point now. Recently, Trump administration, they're denying these people vaccines.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's a concentration camp. It already was. You're not even at this point. You're not even pretending.
No, it is. I mean, and I don't think that's an unfair or disrespectful analogy.
Oh, well, I am so sick of any Jewish person. I've seen, and such as Ben Shapiro, I've seen Jewish people get mad when AOC compared.
Right.
I'm as a Jewish person, it should be your duty to actually
call it like
you see it. There are Jewish peace groups that are going to these detention centers and calling out. They don't get any publicity. The media, of course, doesn't because they're owned by.
I've less often seen Jewish people have a problem with it than I have seen white nationalists say it's disrespectful.
Oh well, those people. They can go fuck themselves.
Right.
I'm talking about. I've seen some, but they're more on these Jewish people are more on the conservative side.
Yeah.
And they're a loud minority.
Yeah.
The majority of the Jewish people are not for this.
No. Right. Yeah. That's what prompted Trump to say that if you're Jewish and don't support him, you're disloyal to your country.
That I was like, oh my God, I'm done. This is
Palpatine level, almost comically villainous.
It's ridiculous at this point.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Yeah.
Right.
I'm so sick of it's I would get into these debates with some people when I would post artwork up and this was early on before he was even elected or early on his administration, and I would call it out as I saw it and they would say it was crazy. But now at this point, if anybody tries to defend him, I am literally go fuck yourself, dude. Yeah. This is getting to be indefensible.
It is.
It's like you said, you may not be racist, but you have no problem with the racist.
Yeah. I mean, that's damning. I mean, it really is.
It's like the Hans Linder, the character, fake fictional character, but he represented a lot of Germans, they were just listen, you know what? Nazis will be in power, and I'll go along with it, and then I'll go along with the next thing.
There's a great book called Ordinary Men. And it's if you're a historian or whatever, I taught history briefly, then it's a real famous book in that little sub group of people. And it was a researcher went and interviewed a whole bunch of regular people that lived in a town next to a concentration camp. And it was a death camp where people were being killed. And he was like, what the fuck were you... I mean, he didn't say it that way. He was very polite, and trying to...
What were you thinking?
What were you thinking when you saw,
smoke?
Well, 1 million people get shoved in there that only held 60 people. Where did you think they went? And people would be like, well, and the more he pressed them, they're like, okay, we knew what was happening. And he'd be like, well, what were you thinking when ash would come out?
Well, they're probably like, what are we going to do? Listen, I'm not trying to offend them. I'm sure most of them are just like...
I'm telling you what you're going to do is if you have a town of 2,000 people and a concentration camp with like 80 soldiers, then you fucking storm the camp, right? Like, that's what you should do.
But most people don't do that. I think if it ever were to go on today, what would happen is, thankfully with technology, there would be people in the town who would do the least they could do, which is tweet about it, post an image on Reddit, or post something, which is what happened. That's how we found out about, like, what's going on in, like, what country was it? Where the guy was, like, he's, like, another Putin piece of shit. Like, he's got, like, this goatee. I don't know if it's Ukraine or it's, like, one of these countries, former Soviet countries.
Sure.
And they literally had, like, concentration camps for gay people, and it got out.
Yeah, that was not, I don't think it was Ukraine.
No, it's not Ukraine.
But, yeah, well, like, I don't know. I mean, like, you saw that happen in the Arab Spring, like, around...
He was hungry.
It could have been, you know.
I don't know. Regardless, I think back then, it's like the one thing that's great about technology, which is why I always like when you get these people who try to downplay Twitter. They try to, like, you know, you get, like, those Brett Stevens assholes who, like, try to... Their main thing is to, like, disregard Twitter as a thing.
Brett Bug.
Yeah. They try to disregard it. It can be a powerful tool. It could bring down people. Like you said, Arab Springs was, you know, of course the United States was all, the mainstream media was all for it because it was an Arab nation going down. But let's see how they react when it's like here or some other country that Trump likes or something.
Or could be England over the next couple of days because that.
Because
Boris Johnson,
Boris
talked the Queen,
British Trump.
Yeah, talked the Queen into dissolving Parliament early.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I already saw the right-wing trolls of Europe saying things like, "Oh, it's a known fact that the British Parliament dissolves every year." No, that's why I knew it was bullshit.
It's complete bullshit, and I'll tell you. I wonder if there's going to be like some unrest, like some significant unrest. You know,
he's part of a worldwide coup.
He looks like a moron.
No, well, first of all, he was living in the United States for years.
He looks like Drunk Uncle. You know the character Drunk Uncle.
Okay, so there's a great. I've seen some things on him. I think pretty sure John Oliver did something on him, but they talked about how his thing with the hair and everything. The whole thing's a fucking act. He's just like Trump. He's an upper elite. There was this photo of him wearing like a fancy, like if you think like Trump's
a sailor's outfit,
kind of, yeah, something like that. It's like this fancy elite, and he's all like
Lord Boris.
Yeah, kind of. He looks like a little Lord Boris, and he's trying to play up. He's just this everyman guy with his sloppy hair,
like Kid Rock.
Like he literally. Oh yeah, fuck that guy. So yeah, I know Kid Rock, the fake hillbilly.
Yeah,
who grew up
he's
in
like
a mansion. Yeah, I know. I'm so shocked that when I found that out a couple of years ago that he was a little rich boy. I'm like,
that tracks.
You know what? Once Joe C died,
yeah,
you know, I knew it was all over for Kid Rock. You know, Joe C probably kept him in check. Little Joe.
I forgot about him.
That was the only thing good about Kid Rock.
Yeah,
was Joe C. And then when Joe C died, I mean, I never liked Kid Rock. The only thing I remember going to like Warped Tour like 97, 98, and like one of my friends was like, "Oh shit, man! You gotta go see this guy. He's got this little kid on stage cursing." Nice. And I remember going to watch it, and it wasn't a little kid first of all, but he was like cursing, and it was kind of funny. But I just remember like watching Kid Rock. I'm like, this guy is such a fucking douchebag. I would never like this guy.
Yeah,
I like that little guy from a entertaining thing.
This is a true story. Before you and I met, I had very long hair.
Like Kid Rock?
Yeah, I looked like Kid Rock.
Ugh. This was the last episode of the
I back then, like, I quit smoking, like, 16, 17 years ago, which is about when Kid Rock was popular, around 16 or 17 years ago. And I was a lot thinner, I had very long hair, and when I didn't shave, I looked like Kid Rock. I mean, it was and people remarked upon it. So that's when he came into my life.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine now.
Hey, you look like Kid Rock. Fuck you.
Well, So,
what the hell are we talking about? Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
And, like, dissolving. So, yeah, supposedly, like, the joke is he, like, messes up his hair purposely before, like, he goes out. He's like, oh, gotta turn on my Boris character.
I can see that.
And, like, it's, like, he supposedly is, you know, I know, it's popular to say that he's, like, British Trump, but he's much more, he's a little more, how do I say this? It's not his first rodeo.
Yeah,
He's a little more,
He's
a
experienced.
little more in tune.
Yeah.
He knows how to play it. He's definitely more of a politician. But
Well-
supposedly a joke was he was like living in the United States for years to avoid taxes or something.
jeez.
Like he wasn't even living in England for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I guess Obama fits this bill to a degree, but whether you like him or don't like him, and I have some problems with him, although I like him in general. Bill Clinton was like a regular guy who became president.
Right. He didn't come for money.
No. He was a
He
regular
literally
guy.
was everything these guys claim to think.
Yeah.
Try to get people to think they are.
When you tell a little kid you too could grow up to be president one day, that's never been true for anyone but Bill Clinton, because he was that one little kid who was like, he came from like a broken home and alcohol.
But what's so funny is they always do these like, but I guess you could do that with anybody. Like they always find like they have like lineage that is like of a royal status, or is
I think
from
you
the
could
famous
probably
people.
do that for
like
everyone.
Obama has one.
Yeah.
It was like revealed in like the 2004 election when John Kerry was going against George Bush. They were like distant cousins.
Right.
I mean, we're talking like 6 generations.
Yeah.
Like,
well, look, I mean, there's only...
It's not like they were like hanging out together.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
just-
I think like all of us, if you trace your lineage back, you're going to find some...
A turd monger.
You're going to find some heroes and villains, so...
Lunch
Yeah.
for an animal. A turd monger.
Yeah. I don't
A
know.
goat jiggler.
I'll say, let me
I don't
say
know what that is.
It's a goat jiggler.
Goat jiggler.
I think that's like, yeah.
It's a proud job. And back in my village of Long Island, New York.
Jiglage.
Jiggler.
Yeah, I will say the one thing I wanted to say about this kind of the end is the Inglorious Basterds always remind. Do you ever read Kurt Vonnegut or remember
Yeah.
Kurt Vonnegut?
Mm-hmm.
He wrote one of his less popular books was called Mother Night. And
I think I read that.
yeah,
I'm like, I don't. You have to jog my memory. I'm positive I read it.
it was one of the first books of his I read because it was very thin. It was only like 100 and some pages.
I like Vonnegut books because
Yeah.
they're not like 500
Nope,
pages.
they
They're
go
very
down
really-
easy.
Yep.
They're real good, and they're of great literary quality.
Yeah.
So this is the one where it was a Nazi propagandist was on trial in like 1970s Israel,
Yeah.
and they were going to put him to death, and he was kind of narrating the story of his life. And as it turns out, he was an Allied spy. He was sending messages
Right.
to the Allies
Okay.
via his Nazi propaganda, and it was.
I think they made a movie with Nick Nolte.
I think they did, yes. And they, so he was a hero because he was transmitting to the Allies places to bomb,
Right.
people to kill, that kind of stuff. But he was also a Nazi propagandist. And so when he was on trial, he basically gave up fighting the trial because he's like, I was a Nazi propagandist. I also did... The propaganda I was spilling was so harmful that I don't feel innocent. And it was just a weird kind of...
Right.
like a meta comment on the power of media and this and that, whatever. And it reminded me in some ways of Inglorious Basterds in how Tarantino, and I don't mean to be too artsy about it, was kind of making a statement about cinema and how...
Well, I mean, Nazis used cinema to...
Yeah.
I mean, was it the Richenstahl? What's her name?
Annie... Yeah.
Something like that. Her
Will to
famous-
Power was the big one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, just to show the grandeur of the Nazis, it was all about theatrics. It was all about pomp and circumstance, or whatever the word is. Like, it was all
Right.
pageantry. I mean, the
Yes.
outfits, everything. I mean, these guys were like I said, they were LARPing. They were like living.
Yeah.
It was like, a new empire and like visions, It's like
Right.
there was like a failed artist, It's like.
I guess we can wrap it up by saying, like...
Okay, so they were propagandists.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think for them to be killed in a movie theater, and I think about it, it's like, it is almost like a poetic justice. It is like, to be destroyed by the thing that they polluted on, or, it's like they're, but again, it's just like his movie, just to end my little thing on it, thesis, whatever it is
Sure.
to say, is that, like, that movie to me is like, if you just knew about World War II from some shitty old movies, I'm not even talking like the good ones.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking like just silly World War II
Yep.
movies.
Yeah.
And like, you just know what happened. You know, there are some characters. You know, the Nazis are the bad guys.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
they did, but you don't really know how it went down. You don't know how it ended.
Right.
And it's just like, I'm going to do this and this. I'm going to do something that no one's ever done. Like, I was talking to my wife about this.
Yep, my wife.
I said that, like, I've seen Hitler used in like, time travel things, like you said, brought up Preacher.
Yeah.
I've seen him in comic books used. I've seen him used as a villain. Like, there's a famous Twilight Zone episode. I've seen, like... But I've never seen anything like this. Like, I've seen it, like I said, I've seen it done in, like, a fantastical way. But not where it was like, holy shit, that's really how it went down.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, this is the movie my 16-year-old self would have wanted to make. This is the thing, like, if I sat through a boring history lecture in high school and I was half paying attention and I looked to my buddy next to me and I said, you know what would have been cool if... And then this movie.
And the thing is, it's like, I remember as a kid making, like, stick figure drawings. And, like, me and my brother, they would make these, like, extensive battles with stick figures. And, like, crazy, and, like Hitler in a bunker or whatever. And, like, all these different...
Yes,
but it's like we were just, like, 9 or 10. And it's like we're coming up with these, like, extensive...
But that's basically the movie.
Yeah. Kind of.
You wrote Inglorious Basterds when you were 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't make a movie. I was 9.
But it's that feeling. I don't know. I mean, like I said, and we talked about this. I talked to my dad about it this morning. I was like, is this movie disrespectful? I don't feel that in my heart, I don't feel that it is, but in my head, I kind of know that it is. I mean, it's a weird feeling.
I can't be mad at somebody for being offended at it. It is,
yes.
And I don't mean, like, offended, like, I'm a Nazi. I mean, like, offended, like, as in, like, it's not how it went down. That's not, you're trivializing it. Like, that's how it if you're offended by it because Nazis were killed, I don't care. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, but you're right. If someone came and made a passioned argument that it's kind of disrespectful to
all the people who died,
right? And then I'm pretty persuadable on that point.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still say it was still fun.
I'm still going to watch that Brad Pitt scene in the beginning, like where
So real quick, did you see? You didn't see Once Upon a Time?
No.
Do you know the ending though?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a comparable... Can we talk about the ending?
All right. We're going to... I mean, I can almost do, like, its own episode on that.
Yeah.
But, it's, like, alternate realities. So, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it was advertised with, like, Charles Manson.
Yeah.
Spoilers, guys.
Right.
We're ending this real quick, but he kind of followed... I didn't expect it at all, but he introduces things, early elements, just like there's no Shoshana in history. There's no Dalton or the other guy's name. They don't exist. And now
Brad Pitt.
You're introducing these fictional characters into a universe, so you're already changing history by having these characters in there. You're weaving fictional characters into real world characters.
Yes.
And he basically changes the world by where the Manson family or Manson kids, or Tex and the gang, they don't kill. They go. They were intended to kill Sharon Tate, but instead they end up going to Leonardo DiCaprio's house, and it turns into where Brad Pitt's like an ex-military. He fucking kills him, and Leonardo DiCaprio kills him, and it just turns into this ridiculous thing where they get hurt and stuff like that, but they basically kill the Manson family, and then Sharon Tate's still alive.
Yeah,
and it's
and
like
the '60s never ended.
Well, that's what I was saying to my wife. The funny thing is, he's like, the joke is they talk about how they hate hippies in the movie, but it's like probably just like something people said back then.
Yeah, well, that was like a Steve McQueen-ish kind of,
And, they represented the worst of like what people thought hippies were, and that's why when they were able to use Manson as an excuse to like basically stifle a peace movement. Even though he had nothing to do with it, they would find another way. They would find any way they can. But Manson was like perfect.
Yeah,
he was so sensational, and he was such a personality. And I was telling my wife, like I said,
my wife.
Fuck yeah, that was a weird. my wife. Like
my hands
okay? Yeah, my wife. So I was telling her like how like that means nothing would happen to Manson.
Yeah.
He probably would have put out some albums.
Yeah.
And my mom probably would have made me go see him at a free concert in the park in the 80s. Like, I don't think he would have been a big star. I don't think he would have been a big star. No. But he'd be this, like, person that people would talk about him. And he'd just be like a wacky 60s guy. And
he might have been... Look, he was on the periphery. He had worked with Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. I mean, he was... It wasn't out of the question that he'd go on.
I met some crazy people. I mean, I was in the punk scene. I met some crazy people. Given the chance, I think they would have been fucking Manson.
Right, G.G. Allen, right?
G.G. Allen,
G.G. Allen, yeah.
G.G. Allen. Someone told me. G.G. Allen, there's a great documentary on him. He started a riot the day he died.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted to kill people.
Well, I remember
Like, he was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
He wanted to blow up. Like, he wasn't even joking. Like, given the chance... He probably would have done it. Like, he started a riot, an actual riot the day he died in New York City at a show. And it's a great documentary I have.
Oh, really?
And, well, the documentary is about him and his family. And his dad, of course, was a complete nut.
Right.
He said his dad would, like, dig graves in the backyard. Jeez. Like, for them. Like,
well, they named the kid Jesus Christ, right? That was, like, his given name or something?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think.
I thought that was the case.
I don't know.
Anyway, he's a character.
The bonus... video was literally the day he died. Like, you don't see him die, but you find out he died that night. He does his show, and then he just starts freaking out, and he starts a riot in the Lower East Side.
Jeez.
And I mean, I know that's not it's not Manson. He
right.
didn't do what Manson did. He died.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, I was telling my wife, I'm like, who the hell knows what would happen in history? I mean, like, the politicians we voted for, everything that happened, like, there probably wouldn't have been a Reagan. Like.
Right.
Who knows what the fuck would have happened if the Sharon Tate murders didn't happen, and, like, you know, like, all kinds of, like, everything changed in that moment. And again, it's like, are you being disrespectful to the Tate family? Are you being you know, it's like,
it's tough. Yeah,
it's a weird thing, but it almost, like, makes an alternate, because, like, unlike Inglorious Basterds where Hitler dies, it's like, everyone in the end, he changes the order, he changes things. But in the end, all those people died anyway.
Right.
So he kind of just, like, fucked around with, move the cards on the deck a little bit, and you know, and everything, or threw them across the room. But this one is like totally a whole thing never happens.
Yeah,
and it's kind of similar to where, like, Sharon Tate, like, he gets Leonardo DiCaprio's character gets invited into the house, so, like, his career is going to get now he's like a struggling actor. He's, like, kind of like at a tail end of his career,
right?
And she's like, "What happened?" And you only hear her voice through the speaker on the gate.
Oh, okay.
And then he lets her in, so it's kind of like almost like Brad Pitt talking from the basement.
Yeah, off-screen,
off-screen voice. So it's interesting. I wouldn't mind doing an episode of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood down the.
Yeah,
I'm definitely. You knew about this. I didn't ruin this for you.
No,
right?
no.
Okay. I said, like, my mind, like, I was like, I didn't expect that to happen, but, like, my mind just, like, went. I was like, everything would change if Manson did not go to. Like, Manson would have been nothing. He would have probably just, like I said, he probably would have just got some albums out. He'd be, like, on the folk circuit. He'd be like one of those guys you see, like, you know, like, music nerds would bring him up. Oh yeah, well, do you know Manson?
Right.
You know, like, not you know Manson because he's a nut in jail, but more like, you like this, you like Dylan, but you know, you don't know.
Be. I guess I don't want to besmirch big star, but he'd be like kind of an Alex Chilton big star level person. Like, only real, like, if you like a certain type of power pop, you go back to Alex Chilton or something.
See, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, well, anyway.
I mean, unless I know the song. But, it'd be like this fucked up thing. It'd be like him and, what was her name, Squeaky?
Squeaky Fromm.
They'd be on stage together, and she'd be playing, and they'd be like fucking everybody. Be like, oh, look, it's Manson, he's old.
Yeah. Although that is now a show I really want to see, Lenny and Squeaky. Like with.
Oh, you mean from Vern Shirley?
Yeah, but like Squeaky Fromm instead of Squiggy and Lenny.
What about Manson just changes his name to Lenny?
Yeah. I would see that.
All right. Well,
All right,
I still
that's it.
say go watch Inglorious Basterds. I also say watch that documentary.
Oh, yeah. Prosecuting Evil?
Prosecuting Evil.
Yep.
Watch that if you really want to see what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Nazis.
Absolutely.
And
Every day.
you still going on about that?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph
And
K.
you still going on about that? Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That with myself, Rob Israel, and Joseph K. Remember, you can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, CastBox, and Podbean. So remember to like and subscribe, share, comment, leave us a basket of fruit or candy. Thank you for listening. All right, later. Bye.